what up, guys? We are live. All right, we haven't done a stream in a few days, so it's good to be back. And this one, we're going to be covering the Just Pearly Things controversy. So this has been one of the most bizarre, I don't know, what do you want to call it, controversies or exposes or whatever the fuck I've seen on YouTube. It's just probably one of the most random ones because basically the accusation is that Just Pearly Thinks is low-key racist, which on the surface doesn't really make any sense since she has a history of dating black guys. She primarily employs black people. She consistently has black guests on her podcast. Like, you would just look at that and be like, okay, well, for a racist, like, why the fuck is she hanging out with black people so many times? And this all dates to basically a stream she did with Nick Fuentes. So I've spent about half a day today digging into this because actually there's really not much good content covering this. I found that most of the stuff I saw about Pearly Things was very biased and kind of left a lot of detail out. So yeah, this was a fucking pain in the ass to like kind of research and try to get the facts on. But the long and short of it is that she had Nick Fuentes on her podcast. If you're not familiar with Nick Fuentes, he's basically I guess considered a white supremacist, although I don't think he calls himself that. I think he's what's described as a race realist. So if you ask him, do you like black people? He'd be like, yeah, of course I love everybody. But then if you're like, okay, but what do you think about interracial marriage? It's like, oh no, like black people and white people shouldn't mix. Or like, what do you think about immigration? Ooh, no, we should keep America all white. So he'll never blatantly say like, I hate black people or something like that. He'll always say, I love everyone because I'm a Christian. But that's like kind of the person that he is. Again, Nick Fuentes is another fucking character. I believe that dude is like secretly in the closet because so many reasons. I mean, kind of his voice, the fact that he's a virgin at the age of 24. I mean, I just think this is kind of a gay dude who's in the closet and kind of projecting in really, really bizarre ways. But he is definitely a character, that's for sure. So let's start off with the I guess the first video I saw on this, which is probably one of the, I don't know, I would say most ridiculous ones, but we'll start off with that and then we'll move down the line to more like kind of, I don't know, like more like, I guess, grounded types of reactions to this. And unfortunately, we can't even watch the original Nick Fuentes episode because it got deleted because Pearly Things took it down. So we have to go off people's reactions. Otherwise, we could just watch the whole thing originally. So that's the reason why we are going off secondhand sources, but we literally have no choice in this matter. So we're going to cover that. Let me see. So yeah, we'll start off with the first ones from a channel called Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. I've heard of this guy before. I'm not too familiar with his content, but well, let's just jump into the video and then you guys decide for yourself what you think about this coverage. So, and this is going to really kind of try to explain the story as we go on. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay.
I really don't. I don't wish the lecture.
For some reason, the audio isn't on.
Conversation that's upsetting.
Okay, I can't hear shit, so hang on a second. Let me try to fix my audio settings. Wait, is this
Particular position if
nope. I think it's my settings. Hold up a second. Mic is correct. Speaker is correct. Should be playing. Yeah, it's just the problem is that I can't hear it. Let me see if this is something on my end that I can fix real quick. If I can't hear it, then it's not going to really work.
done in a healthy way can promote.
I typically always have camera issues. I never have audio issues. Let me try to do this a different way. Hold up a second. Watch on YouTube. Okay, there we go. Okay, I got it to work. Yeah, I just had to do it on a different off my email. Okay. This should, so let me know how the audio is.
Civil discourse. But your up was to not only not defend the people who help create the content on your platform, but to also push a narrative.
Okay, let me know how the audio is. Let me just get a quick audio check and then we'll jump into it. It's good? Okay. Let's do it. All right, so I'm going to start off. This is probably, I don't know. He covers a lot of the issues, but I think his take is way off. So let's just jump right into it.
I don't.
Wow.
I really don't. I don't wish the lecture racist.
Oh, I'm not racist.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Nick.
Yeah, I am a little bit racist.
And the Italians, we do not claim you.
Oh, hey, the Italians don't claim you. You're the one dating a black guy.
I like the dramatic music. Obviously, that's kind of a fucked statement, but again, that's Nick Fuentes. It's not really Pearl.
I'm not going to beat around the bush for this conversation, and I'm going to get straight to the point. Pearl, you f***ed up. You knowingly invited a white supremacist and a self-proclaimed racist onto a platform which is primarily supported by, at least initially, and produced by Black people. This comes across as insensitive.
So, yes, but the fact is that she's the one who created the platform. It just so happens that she, I guess, hires a lot of Black people, but he's making it seem almost like she's just part of the team, right? Like it just so happened that she joined, like, for example, she joined No Jumper, right? Which is primarily like Black, platform, right? Or at least most of the hosts on there are Black. So it made it seem like she was like part of the team and she joined that, and then she decided. Whereas the difference is that she actually created this platform and she chose to hire a lot of Black people, right? And then she invited someone. I mean, I guess you can make the argument it's insensitive. I guess if I was in her situation and I was inviting a white supremacist on, and I was like had a lot of Black employees, I probably would run it by them just to make sure that like that's not there, and I get really pissed off by that. So I would call that professional courtesy. I don't know if that's really a sign of racism, but just kind of like not being really smart with how you manage your team.
To downright,
at the end of the day, we don't know if she actually ran it by her employees. Like maybe they're all cool with it. Who the fuck knows?
Nasty. And I want to be clear. It's not just inviting said person to the conversation that's upsetting, because conversations with people who don't agree with each other or don't agree with a particular position, if done in a healthy way, can promote civil discourse. But your up was to not only not defend the people who help create the content on your platform, but to also push a narrative that is insensitive and damaging to those very same people. Pearl, you know that your staff is mostly Black people. And I'm talking about from a production perspective as well as a talent perspective. You also know that the majority of your content utilizes Black people talking about Black relationship issues. You could have had Black people sitting in the same room with this person in order to combat some of the hellacious things that were coming out of his mouth, or to have a...
Well, to be fair, I believe there was a Black person there. I don't quote me on this, but I think he was like behind the camera. But yeah, he's probably right. It probably would have been way better from an optics perspective if she had like, if she's bringing on a white supremacist, she'd probably bring on someone who's like the opposite of that. Like, I don't know, someone who's like a Black guy or a Black girl who's really passionate about like Black issues. So I do agree with him on that from an optics perspective. That would have been better. Like if I was to have Nick Fuentes on, I would probably like have someone to counterbalance that. Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, that's not racism. That's just like poor decision making on her part.
A different perspective that would have lent itself well to demonstrate the respect for the people that watch your content and that you employ. I don't think that your platform would be as big as what it is today if it wasn't for the essential utilization of Black people, Black relationship topics, and Black talent. And the talent came from all over.
Okay, here's a hot take. There's two reasons why Pearly blew up the way she is. The first one is because of Kevin Samuels passing away. So I saw other people talking about this, and I agree with this. So after Kevin Samuels passed away, there was a massive, massive void amongst a lot of Black, manosphere, Black, red pill people who consume this content. Who were like, whoa, like we really enjoyed his stuff. He was saying a lot of stuff we liked. And there wasn't really anyone they could look to, right? Because Fresh and Fit is just like, for a lot of people, it's just too extreme. They're just too wild. They're not civilized, blah, blah. Pearly Things came in as like a nice little, like Pearly Things and Kevin Samuels say all exactly the same shit, pretty much. I would say Pearly is a little bit more extreme than Kevin Samuels, if anything, right? So she filled that void. That's the first thing. The second thing is because she copied the Fresh and Fit formula. And again, like Fresh and Fit don't have like some kind of proprietary, like right to that formula. Anyone is free to do that, right? It's a simple formula. And actually, you can make the argument that Fresh and Fit got there from Allende. So who the fuck knows who initially came up with that? The premise is you bring on a bunch of kind of dumb, whatever, SJWs, and then you basically get them all riled up, and then you have debates with them. The big difference between how Pearl does it and how Fresh and Fit does it is that Pearly actually engages with them, and she doesn't do like these weird kickouts. She doesn't get emotionally triggered. She actually engages with them. But for sure, both of these platforms try to bring on like kind of crazy SJWs, especially like modern feminist woman, right? And then they're going to have a meltdown, they're going to freak out, and that creates good content, right? That's kind of like, that's the two reasons why she got as big as she did. Without the Kevin Samuels thing, she might have become popular, but I don't think nearly as popular.
You include the likes of an Andrew Tate, all the way down to a Brittany Renner. And even from a content creator perspective, from me to a Melanie King, to a Sarah Garvey, to a King Riches, to an Auntie Jenny. So for those just unaware of what's been going on, Pearl has recently come under fire for these particular comments.
I'm trying to get my Africans in America, my Africans. Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
They're gonna be in trouble. This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often, but that's what they do, is they embellish. And I'm not trying to.
Oh, Pearl. that was shouldn't have said that, my lady. Shouldn't have said that. Okay, so the first thing she said, let's quickly go back into this. I hate how also they I want to see the full clip. I hate evaluating things based on limited information. So I guess we have to trust that there's no context to this and that he's presenting it the right way. But I really wish that we could see more context.
Oh boy.
They're gonna get trouble.
Creator perspective, from me to a Melanie King, to a Sarah Garvey, to a King Riches, to an Auntie Jenny. So for those just unaware of what's been going on, Pearl has recently come under fire for these particular comments.
I'm trying to get my Africans in America, my Africans. Oh gosh.
So he said, I'm trying to get my Africans into America. So I believe the context is that she's trying to go to America, and there's a lot of she hires a lot of people who are from Africa originally, right? Recent immigrants, and she's basically trying to get them a visa so they could come travel with her to America. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, poor wordage, sure, but that's not racism. That's just literally her talking about how she wants to travel with her coworkers and they can't get in because they can't get visas because they come from African countries, and it's harder for those people to get visas. So I don't see anything wrong with that statement. Just probably she could have used better wordage, that's for sure.
Oh boy.
They're gonna be in trouble. This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often, but that's what they do, is they embellish. And I'm not.
Now, this statement is a little different. That was definitely, I would say, insensitive at the least. One dumb statement doesn't make you a racist. I just think Pearly Things doesn't know enough about history and race stuff to really be making any kind of statements about whether slavery was embellished or not. I just don't think she knows nearly enough about that. So it's probably some random thing she saw in the podcast and she thinks it's true, right? But I really doubt Pearly Things has really gone deep and started researching slavery and what happened after Reconstruction, how it all worked out. I just think this is probably coming from a place of not knowing any better and just some shit that she saw in one podcast. She's just repeating it. But yeah, that was a really, really dumb thing to say, obviously.
I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible. It was.
Right.
But they want to make it more horrible so that they can control people.
Now, what's crazy is that I came across these comments while I was live streaming a couple of days.
I mean, I don't really understand her logic. Who's trying to control people through slavery? Her logic doesn't really make any sense. I would be curious to hear her breakdown of why people would embellish slavery in order to control people, how those two things are in any way related. I have no idea what her underlying logic there is, but intuitively it doesn't really make any sense to me. How do those two things go together at all?
Days ago, and what started out as a laughy, jokey live stream where I wanted to talk about my time up in London, quickly diverted to one of the worst live streams that I've ever had in my life. And honestly, it was a trip to hell as I discovered the magnitude of the conversation that she had with this figure by the name of Nick Fuentes. Specific to the comments regarding slavery being embellished, I said this on the stream and I maintain it today, that Pearl needs to be held responsible for this comment.
But what does that mean, held responsible? I hate when people do these vague types of things. She should be held responsible. Are we talking about she should apologize because she's already done that? Are we talking about she should be canceled, right? Is that what you're trying to advocate? It's kind of very vague, virtue signaling, I would say. She needs to be held responsible. Okay, well, what exactly do you mean by that? Because she's already apologized, so it can't be apology. So it's got to be, what is it got to be? Cancellation, or people need to fucking unsubscribe from her channel? What should she have to pay a fine? What exactly do you mean by that? Super vague term, which I think is I don't know. Personally, if I was evaluating someone, I'd be they need to be held accountable. I would be okay, here's exactly what I think should happen.
likening a quote from the writer of Roots explaining a myth for his people to hold on to does not negate the documented history of the atrocities that happened to Black people.
Yeah, obviously, I agree with that. I think 99% of people would agree with that. I think that was just a really, really bad take on Pearly Things' part, but I don't think that makes her racist. Like, having a really dumb take, like, based on some shit you saw in a podcast, doesn't necessarily make you a racist, right? I think that you need more evidence than that. You need a repeated history of basically people having very bad takes when it comes to a racist issue. One bad take when it comes to a race issue, in my opinion, doesn't make someone a racist.
And I'd argue that Roots was a light depiction of the savagery that my forefathers had to go through to ensure that I would be here today. But let me explain a little bit further how thoroughly that this actually is, because for me, it comes down to a question of ethics. You're interviewing a known Nazi sympathizer and an anti-Black creator and not offering any.
Wait, but so has everyone. Everyone's interviewed Kanye. He's a Nazi sympathizer. Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman. Are you saying that all those people are in the wrong? Because by that logic, some of the most popular podcasters in the world should be held accountable, right? I would say Kanye is probably a little bit worse than Nick Fuentes. At least Nick like tries to like water it down and like use more like innuendos or dog whistles. Kanye is just straight up like, yeah, fuck the Jews. Like, that dude will just like fucking just go all out.
Any pushbacks whatsoever. And in fact, you're adding in your own fake news regarding the embellishment.
Another fun take by Kanye is where he said that Hitler was not that bad. Like, even Alex Jones disagreed with him on that. Alex Jones was like, "Whoa, I think Hitler was pretty bad." Kanye's like, "No, man, he was misunderstood," right? So, yeah, that's kind of how extreme Kanye was when he was going on his like crazy rampage.
Or the exaggeration of slavery. Additionally, there were times within the conversation where it's laughy, it's jokey, it's kikiing, especially when you got specific in certain comments that reflected on CP time. And let me also say this, is that generally CP time is something that's laughed amongst people of melanation, but it's not taken as a joke when you're doing it with a person who is a self-proclaimed racist. Now that I've had that.
Yeah, I understand his logic. Again, I think that was poor wordage. I mean, like this is actually my first time of hearing like CP colored people time. I don't know. I find that more like, if anything, my observation has been is that Latin people are always late. Like Latina girls are always late, but so a lot of white chicks, so a lot of Black chicks, so a lot of Asian chicks. I think more has to do with like your mindset and your generation. Like typically older people are more on time, and like the Generation Z are always late. I've never heard that joke before, but yeah, probably not the best thing to say when you're talking to a quote unquote supremacist. Sure. I mean, poor taste, sure, but yeah, not a sign of racism.
The opportunity to digest all of the information. Now that I'm not on live stream with thousands of people looking at me, in the back of my mind, thinking towards the tens of thousands that are waiting for the perfect reaction from me, I begin to question why you didn't sympathize with the plight of African Americans or Black people in general. And not once in the interview did you have at least one pro-Black stance or some form of ethical defense or cultural sensitivity for the people who care.
I honestly think that just because Pearl doesn't really know much about race things, I think she's going way out of her depth to do this interview. Like, she knows a little bit about like male-female dynamics, so she can like regurgitate a bunch of like red pill facts when it comes to that. But when it comes to like race stuff, like I think Pearl is like way out of her depth on that. So I think the reason she didn't push back, again, if I'm going to give her the benefit of doubt, isn't because she like secretly believes in that stuff. It's simply because she doesn't have enough information to refute the shit because she's never studied it, versus Nick Fuentes, a dude who's like obsessed with race shit. This dude has been like jerking off to like race issues for the last 2 decades, right? So there's a mismatch in like, I don't know, like I guess we can say knowledge and information between those two when they're talking about race issues.
Carry your production machine forward, or the people that you know that watch your channel. That's questionable at the very least, and it shows to me a degree of misguided that you are regarding our culture, and that you have some introspection to do, and you have to find a newfound respect for understanding more about the people.
This dude sounds like a straight up politician. Like this seems like this is so like cringy virtue signaling politicalness. I understand if you're like, you think it was fucked up, sure, make a video about it, but like he's just like virtue signaling so hard right now.
That work for you, or who a component of the content is made for. The embellishment of slavery is where you display the true level of your insensitivity and lack of understanding about the culture that you have immersed yourself in, whether you like it or not. Pearl At the end of the day, you fucked up. I completely, as I said on that stream, denounce your statements. And I believe that you need.
Oh my god, this is getting into such cringy virtue signaling territory. Dude, you don't want to collaborate with her, don't collaborate with her, but dude, like this, I think that should be held to a higher standard. You know, this is just like such lame politician things, or like people like, oh my god, I don't know. I can't believe YouTubers do this shit.
You need to be held completely accountable for your words and your actions. And I want you to do it for the sake of my history, for the sake of my community, for the sake of my audience, and the people who have followed me and will continue to follow me, Pearl, the people that found you through my channel because of these actions. And Pearl, we had a one-on-one conversation before I recorded this video, and I told you I can no longer work with you. We had a dating show that was in the pipeline, and I was super excited about releasing this content on your platform and then cutting it up and putting it up on my platform and reacting to it. We did great content up there. But along with these statements that have come up, I no longer feel comfortable in having that dating show footage released along with the other.
It seems like something like a fucking SJW would say, like, I don't no longer feel comfortable. Like, at the end of the day, if you were like working with Pearl, you guys were making shows together, like if she was always cool with you and you're someone who's black and she's white, chances are that like she's still, you know, she's not racist, right? Like, why would she then want to work with so many black people if she like thought negatively of them? Like, you don't see Nick Fuentes working with a lot of black people, right? Like, that as a dude, you could definitely make a strong case. I would say actually a completely solid case for why he's a racist. But Pearl, I don't know. It's for a girl who's like allegedly racist. She seems to like talk and interact and work with and date a lot of black people. I know. So that part to me doesn't really add up. But like, yeah, I just think it's such an overreaction. Like, yeah, she said something dumb. She apologized, right? Like, I mean, what do you want from the girl? Like, she's fucking young as fuck. Probably doesn't really know any better. I mean, she made a mistake. Yeah, sure. She, probably offended a lot of people. I get that. But to like go to the extreme is like, I no longer feel comfortable collaborating with you. I don't know. It just seems like kind of like cringy virtue signaling to me. That's just my take.
Other content that was recorded up there onto your platform. I plan in the future not to release more content up onto the channel regarding my time in London. And to be honest, frankly,
yeah, some people are saying Fuentes worked with Kanye. That is true, but I think that was a relationship for convenience. Because for Fuentes, Kanye was his ticket like to fucking success, right? Fuentes has been banned from every single platform, right? He has his own platform, which is obviously not going to be as big as the mainstream social media companies, and he has an A-list celebrity who is willing basically to take him under his wing. I mean, Fuentes was able to meet Donald Trump because of Kanye. So I think that's a relationship of convenience, right? I think if Kanye wasn't Kanye, Fuentes would not even give him a second look. That's just my take on that.
It really sucks because I had a lot that I wanted to be able to speak about. And again, to my community, to my audience, to the people who have followed me and will continue to follow me into the future, I have to take personal accountability for my working relationship with Pearl. And trust me when I say I take full ownership and full accountability.
Homie, you didn't do anything wrong. What the fuck are you taking accountability for? You were collaborating with a girl before she said some like borderline insensitive shit. Like, what the fuck do you need to take accountability for? Like, Jesus Christ.
I had absolutely no idea of the comments that were made in the Nick Fuentes interview. And had I known this prior to, I would not have gone to London. I did not know about this until I came back. And then I went and did a live stream. And then my supporters let me know. For everyone else out there,
it's okay, buddy. Racism is not a disease. You can't just catch it like a cold. You're good.
Who's ever supported the platform and sent super chats. And for everyone who has been affected by this situation, like I said, I take full accountability. For those of you guys that have followed my platform for a long time, do understand that I've selected, at least I thought I've selected with a fine-tooth comb who I have chosen to work with. If you guys already know, it hasn't been a lot of people, okay? I've also have a no beef policy on my platform because I think it does us no good to continue to promote fights and spats.
I have a no beef policy, therefore I'm going to make a video calling out another content creator.
I'm all about delivering value at the end of the day. But as a man in the space, I got to take full ownership and full accountability. And along with my accountability.
Does this not seem like a speech a politician would give? Like a politician who's like, I don't know, whose like friend gets caught like having sex with hookers. Like, oh, I had no idea. I am, but I'm going to take full accountability. It just seems like way too over the top.
This is now my definitive stance. I can no longer support or associate myself with the Just Pearly Things platform. And for those who still wish to continue to support voices of women that are down into the space who agree with the particular message that we put up on Jump Street, I want you guys to go check out and follow the following female content creators. All right, I got to list their names right here.
Okay, I think that's basically the gist of this video from here on. So we're going to get into another video, which I think was much more balanced. Let me just take a quick look at some comments, and we'll get into the next video, which I think is a lot better, and I agreed with this more. Okay, I want to just quickly go through the questions. Pearl probably thought she was doing a good thing and being inclusive, hire her staff. Now it's back to bite her. Yeah, in a way. I mean, sure. Yeah, like that, like, yeah, like I mean, I personally, like, when I hire people, I don't think like, oh, this is a black person, I should hire them. I'm just like, okay, who's the best for the job? I don't give a fuck what color they are. I don't give a fuck how old they are. I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. Who is the best person for the job? And I don't know, like, if Pearl, for example, like purposely tries to hire black people. I don't know. Like, we don't know. Maybe they were just the best people for the job. So I don't know. I don't want to make any claims on that without having the information. But yeah, it could be that those were legitimately the best people on the job, or maybe because she had connections with like one black person that was able to introduce her to other black people. So just wound up inadvertently happening. I don't know. Okay, I see a lot of bickering in the chat. Playing with fire. The phrase you're looking for is audience capture. I'm sure viewers want him to make this video. Yeah. I'm sure I definitely am fully believe that this was an attempt for him to, like basically virtue signal to his audience and kind of pander to his base, which is something I try never to do, because I thought that's like super cringe to just pander to my audience, which is why I'll just say what I really believe. And even if that's something most of my audience will disagree with me. Alex, if she made a statement about the Holocaust, you'd be upset. I honestly don't give a shit at all. People, me and Natty joke around all the time. She'll make the most like crazy anti-Semitic jokes and we'll laugh it off. I care about if the person legitimately hates Jews, then yeah, like probably not someone I'm going to hang out with. But if the person just makes a joke or says something dumb, like, oh, I think that, it wasn't actually 7 million Jews, it was like 4 million Jews. Like, that's not, I don't really give a shit. Like, yeah, I don't care about what some random person says about something. Pearl knew exactly what was going to do. She won this controversy the same way Sneeko did. Stop acting like she didn't know this would happen. She's not an idiot. Yeah, I severely doubt she knew what was going to happen. Not all the saying that all publicity is good publicity is really dumb. There's some publicity that's genuinely bad publicity that will fuck you over. Like, for example, with No Jumper right now, he's going through bad publicity. People aren't subscribing. People are not watching his videos. His employees are leaving him, right, because of bad publicity. So yeah, not all publicity is good publicity. I don't think this is good for her brand. I think she will be fine, long term, but I don't think this is any way a calculated decision on her part. I think your favorite person, Jesse Lee Peterson, streams on Fuente's website too. Yeah, Fuentes. Jesse Lee Peterson is another fucking really cringy character. But what I also say has like some, I don't know, fucking really, let's just put it this way, really weird and bizarre takes. But again, Jesse Lee Peterson is another in the closet gay guy who's just projecting really hard by like on the world. So I mean, you see a little bit of a pattern there, Okay, let me see if there's. Blamer File, what happened to Destiny Com? I feel like you're more with him than that shake you try to pick up. He just dropped out. I mean, kind of is what it is, but yeah, I don't know what else to do. Blamer File, watch how Sam Harris lambasted likes freedom for even having Kanye on. Jews criticizing for interviewing Kanye. It's the same thing people are doing to MTR and us. Yeah, I think there's like nothing wrong with interviewing people who hold up fucked up takes. And in Lex Friedman's defense, he challenged Kanye on that a lot. I saw that interview. Nothing wrong at all with that. I think you should be able to have conversations with people who have really weird beliefs, because that's the only way you're going to bridge the gap. So I do that all the time. I'll talk to a bunch of crazy black pillars. I'll talk to incels. I'll talk to literally anybody, right? I don't give a shit. I would even have Nick Fuentes on. Obviously, I wouldn't say the stuff Pearl said, but I would have a discussion with him. Like, I think you should have conversations with people who think differently than you. Okay, what else do we have? Pearl is the ultimate pick-me. We'll pass her most for any form of attention. I do think that she is definitely, to some extent, a pick-me girl. I do agree with that. I'm mixed and I hate race baiting. Yeah, me too, dude. I feel like there's like a low key racist witch hunt going on YouTube, or that's been going on, where it's like everyone's like trying to catch someone on like something. And of course, there are legit racists out there, and they should be called out. I'm not saying they shouldn't be, right? But like, dude, like a lot of people get accused of racism aren't really racist. They just made a bad joke. Like Destiny has been accused of being racist. I've been accused of racism because of one video I did where I guess I was swiping on Tinder and I swiped left on a lot of black chicks. It's like, oh, I swiped left on them because they're black. No, homie, I swiped left on them because they weren't attractive. The chick was 300 pounds. Why the fuck would I swipe right on her just because she's black? It's the dumbest logic ever. So yeah, I just feel like there's like a witch hunt going on with like the race stuff. It's kind of cringy. And it's not helping anyone. See, I agree with this. Pearl hired Africans because they were cheaper. She even trained them herself. And yes, I do think she did that. And you can make the argument that's like poor, like, you know, that's kind of capitalism running amok, or that's unethical, but that doesn't inadvertently make her racist, right? How can I come on for debate after this? I'm gonna drop a link and you just jump on and yeah, you can jump on and we can have a discussion. What Pearl's, even though what Pearl said was stupid, her career should have soared because of it. Yeah, I agree with that completely. Alex, you said I would make 5 times more money by selling out in lease, but I refuse. Pearl sells out. Why give her a pass? Because I'm not convinced that she does sell out. I think she legitimately believes in the stuff that she's saying. That's the thing. I've interacted with her enough to know that she actually believes in this shit. I don't see really any major contradictions to her ideologies, right? It wasn't like 2 years ago she was saying this and now she's saying that. So I'm not convinced that she's actually saying this stuff because she knows it'll get views. I actually think she legitimately believes in this stuff. She might embellish it a little bit. I think this is the shit that she actually believes. So that's kind of my take on that. Alex, I heard Meyer knocked you out in Miami. Is this true? Where do these like rumors come from? No, Meyer never knocked me out. We never even had a fight. One time, this is like 3 years ago. I saw him on the street and he started yelling at me and we started arguing. We argued for like 10 minutes and then nothing happened. That was it, basically. Let's see what else we have. Angry Man's rant about the country was hilarious. Dude was going in on simps placating black women in the Pearl Heat. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. The problem with your logic is talking about people as you give them a platform, ideas that can harm people, and they're responsible for any part of spreading that. I could not disagree with this more. I think, first of all, Nick already has a platform, right? You're not taking someone who's a nobody, giving them a platform. And second of all, those ideas already exist, okay? No one's going to become racist who's not racist because they see Nick Fuentes on Pearly Thinks podcast, right? Which is, again, why it's important to challenge bad ideas. And I do think Pearly definitely wasn't prepared for that discussion. She should have definitely been more prepared. I think she was going out of her depth. Like, this is not an area she knows anything about, in my opinion. But yeah, as long as you challenge people on bad ideas, I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with talking to people who are really fucking controversial, have really bad takes. I do it all the time. Alex, I thought you had strong balls. You're just concerned that you don't care about things that most have thought you did. What exactly do I not care about? I don't even understand what we're talking about right now. Okay. Come on, bro. She's totally fake. I think you can watch more about her, but she steals everything word for word people. She doesn't believe she says what she sells. So I think she definitely regurgitates a lot of like red pill talking points. To be fair, every single fucking red pill channel does that. Pretty much every single one. They all say the same shit. Is anyone really saying anything new in the red pill community now? It's all the same exact fucking shit. Modern woman sucked. Looks, money, status. Get your status up. Go to the gym, bro. Work out. Hold modern women accountable. Have strong boundaries. It's all the shit you hear over and over again. I can summarize every single red pill content created in 2 minutes, right? It's really not like there's no nuanced like takes in there. It's all like very straightforward stuff. Like I know every single thing that Fresh and Fit or Pearly is going to say before they even say it, right? It's very, very predictable. But I think she legitimately believes in it. That's the thing. I think she legitimately like has fucking swallowed the red pill. That's the thing. Because she was saying this stuff before she was even famous. Like I talked to her, I had her on my podcast like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And way before her channel took off, talked to her privately. She was saying a lot of the same shit. I think she might have become a little bit more extreme, which typically is what happens when you get immersed in the community. So I think she went a little bit further now. And you can make the argument that she embellishes and she exaggerates. But I do think she legitimately believes in this shit. Okay, what else do we have? Alex is so off. The more promoted race, the more racism you can get. Society is the same with homosexuality, etc. Wait. Are you saying that you're going to become gay if you see a gay person? Like, is that really what you're saying? That if I have a gay person on this podcast, that will increase your likelihood of becoming gay? That is one of the weirdest takes I've ever heard. Damn, I didn't even think my takes were going to be controversial. I love how she tells women to stay in the kitchen while she's out being bossy. That is actually very true. I was actually thought about that. I was going to bring that up. In a little bit. But yeah, I do think that she is a hypocrite in that sense. Because she does talk a lot about women being traditional, but she's literally running a business empire. She travels across the world to pursue her volleyball career. So she's a hypocrite. Pretty much every single person in the Red Pill community is as well, right? Fresh and Fit are hypocrites. I see a lot of hypocrisy in just a lot of Red Pill content creators. So she's no different in that sense. But yes, there's definitely hypocrisy on her part. Okay, what else do we have? Nick. Destiny handles Nick Fuentes perfectly. Yeah, I agree with that. Alex, we don't agree on a few things, but I'm with you on this, man, 100%. You have to remember people are more sensitive these days. Jokes that we told 10 years, 50 years are off the table. That is true. That is true. Okay, let's get back into the next clip. I think this one was a lot better. So let me pull this up. Okay, so this is a channel called Playback. I've loosely heard of them, but I think their take was a lot more fair. So I'm going to play what they say. I'm not going to agree with everything they say, but I'm going to agree with them largely. And then we'll get into the apology.
I know Pearly Things is a white content creator. She was born in the States, but then is now based over the pond over in London, and she makes some relationship style video. In this type of style format that she makes, a majority of the people that are employed by her and have the conversation are Black people, in particular a lot of Africans, because they migrated over to where she lives. The reason why all this is important is because it seems like she's making a pivot in her content, being more political based and ideology based, regardless if it's right or left. And
I don't know if that's actually true. She just had on one political dude on. Is that actually a fact? Like she's doing more politics rather than relationship stuff? Because as far as I remember, she was all about like red pill shit. I didn't really see her talk about politics much.
And her first guest she decided to bring on was Nick Fuentes.
Oh, I'm not racist.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Nick.
Yeah, I am a little bit
Yeah,
racist. But listen, it's not because I hate people. I love people. It's just,
by the way, for people who are saying like, yo, come on, Nick Fuentes isn't racist because he was collabing with Kanye, who's having him on. He literally just admitted that he's like kind of racist. So I don't think there's really any discussion about Nick Fuentes, right? I don't think there's any like controversy on whether Nick Fuentes is racist or not, right? And there's obviously degrees of racism, right? You can be mildly racist, you can be moderately racist, you can be, KKK level racist, right? I don't think Nick Fuentes is at like KKK level, but yeah, he's kind of fucking racist, kind of is what it is.
Race is real. Maybe some Brajol. There's some Italian.
No, but
you.
I will make my Black boyfriend some of that.
Ugh, wow. You don't know any better.
She had.
You can tell he doesn't like that. I don't understand why he cares so much about like a race relationship. Like if you don't want to date a Black girl, that's fine. Just don't date Black girls. But I don't know why he gets like so. I don't know. He's so so concerned about other people. Like who the fuck cares who you date? I could give a rat's ass who anyone dates. Like if I was into a certain type of girl, like I'm into Latinas, I date Latinas. If you like white chicks, you like Asian chicks, do your thing, man. Like I don't give a fuck who you date.
Had him on the podcast. It was very clear that she was unaware of the conversation that was being had. She was not properly informed, something that she openly admitted as well.
Everything that happens in life.
So that's exactly what my take was as well. Is I just think she wasn't informed.
I say to the girls on my show is my own fault. The fact that people are making these videos is my own fault. And the situation that I'm in is my own fault. Now I'm going to give you guys an explanation and give you guys context for some of the conversations that were had. Just know it's not an excuse. It's my own fault. I take full accountability for everything that happened.
And while
she made a mistake by apologizing, though. I think she should have gone full Donald Trump mode, right? Like, can you imagine if 2016 election, if Donald Trump started apologizing about things that he said, he would have been done. So I think sometimes, just in terms of a Machiavellian type of perspective, it's better to double down rather than to apologize. Or you can just instead of doubling down, you could just pivot. But I think apologizing in certain situations is going to be very hurtful to your brand, because you're admitting you did something wrong, right? So we're talking about purely maybe ethically, she probably should have apologized. Sure, I'm not denying that. But from a Machiavellian perspective, that was a mistake.
Doing so, said a bunch of things that were very problematic. The first thing she brought up was immigration, right? They were talking about immigration. Nick Fuentes being a purist, he believes that the border should be locked down. Nobody should be able to come in. But how Pearly thinks, she believes no, it needs.
I mean, if the borders were locked down, I would not be in America right now. I'm an immigrant, so yeah. Obviously, my position on that is immigration is good. I think the immigration system should be completely rechanged, similar to what they have in Australia. So in Australia, there's a merit system, right? So basically, if you're an engineer, if you're young, you get points, right? When you get to a certain amount of points, you get to immigrate, right? It's not random. The American immigration system is largely random. It's a lottery type of system, right? That's how we got our green card to America. We just won the lottery, right? And for certain countries, it's a lot easier than for other countries because they have quotas for how many, tickets they're going to give. Of course, you can always marry someone, you can do political asylum, but most people are not doing that, right? So yeah, I think the immigration system should be completely overhauled to be purely based in merit. We need doctors, we need engineers, so let's give engineers, doctors, regardless of what country they're from, firsthand access, right? What we don't need is old people, or we don't need art majors or something like that. So they should be at the bottom of the list. So that's kind of my hot take on immigration.
Be open up, needs to be more broad and more robust.
Oh, another thing we need is big titty Latinos, so they should go to the front of the line too.
In terms of allowing more people come in, so much so that she used the phrase that she wants to bring her Africans over to America.
She wants to bring all her Africans or just some?
All are Africans.
Got it.
And during this conversation, we were talking about immigration, and I said, I'm trying to get my Africans to America.
Of course, not the greatest phrasing, right? Especially when you're dealing with somebody who was a known.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely not the greatest phrasing.
Process. Another comment that she made about was CP time. People don't know that is color people time. It's an ongoing joke amongst Black people.
I've literally never heard of this until this whole controversy.
Who were always late.
I told you I'm on my way because I thought I was already 10 minutes late when I was leaving.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Blessing was more late African.
Well, he's Black.
Yeah.
See that Black person right there? See that African right there? My employee, they're always late too, man. Don't worry about it. And also at the end of the conversation, one of her other employees, who also is Italian, Nick Fuentes is Italian apparently, and said that she denounced Nick Fuentes, and all the Italians denounced her. And Nick Fuentes' response was,
And the Italians, we do not claim you.
Oh, hey, the Italians don't claim you. You're the one dating a Black guy. The Italians don't claim me. They don't claim you.
Oh, no, they claim me. They claim me.
I don't think so.
They do.
What the fuck does that even mean? Italians claim you. Italians are a group of people. If she's talking about in general, overwhelmingly, Nick Fuentes sort of would have a point. I think a lot of traditional Italian people would probably, I'm not saying they would make a big deal out of it publicly, but I think privately, if we just look at The Sopranos, for example, right, which I understand is a TV show, but there's elements of truth in it, where Tony finds out that Meadow is, dating a Black guy, he really freaks out on that. And obviously that's wrong. I don't think you should care, whose skin color someone is dating, right? But in the old school Italian community, yes, they would probably frown on that. So, I mean, he obviously a dick thing to say, but there's an element of truth to what he's saying. It's just an unfortunate element of truth.
Italian guys, yeah.
Italians,
Tell an
we're
Italian
big-
guy
we're
about
big
your
lovers.
affinity for Black guys. That'll go over real well.
Good one, Nick.
I'm going to be as optimistic as possible and say that the reason why there wasn't a pushback or any type of ongoing conversation with some of those comments is that, maybe, just tongue in cheek, maybe a couple of bad jokes here and there, but the thing that really pushed it over the edge is that Pearl was claiming that she agreed with Nick Fuentes that some of the atrocities over human history are embellished to control the narrative. And for whatever reason, Pearly things thought it was relatable to say that slavery in America was also embellished.
This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said I wanted a myth for my people.
Yeah, so I have like the whole controversy. This is the one thing that like, like the people who say Pearl fucked off have a point on. That was a really bad take. And like, yeah, that I think the only thing that she did that was wrong is give that take. And obviously, like, you can say whatever the fuck we want. You live in a free speech country, right? But yeah, I can see why people are pissed off. Like me personally, again, if someone said that about Jews, I wouldn't give a fuck. I don't really care unless that person like actively hates Jews and like fucking, I sense that, then I probably wouldn't want to talk to them. But aside from that, I wouldn't really care. But I can totally see how like Black people are really pissed about that, and they have a valid concern. Like I understand, like yeah, like if you're like a Black person, you look up to Just Pearly thinks like she's your favorite content creator, and you hear her say that, I can totally see how you would be like, like fuck this chick. So I get it.
To live by. So they often, but that's what they do is they embellish. And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible. It was.
Right.
But they want to make it like more horrible so that they can control people.
I just like, how do you embellish like the murder of like hundreds of thousands, millions of people, regardless of the tragedy? Like, how could you not talk about that enough? If that's in your history, like if you have ancestors that have been through that, talking about it, talking about how brutal it was, embellishing it, that was its reality.
The crazy
that's
part
so rich coming from somebody who hasn't seen, who will never see that type of hardship in their life. Never. That's super rich.
What's even crazier is that she said that and used a reference point that is like a blimp in human history. She referenced the Roots, and the Roots, for those who don't know, that's even if you never heard of it, you definitely understand some context. Kunta Kinte, that's where that character comes from, and the whole scene of like your name is Toby and all. That's where that's from, right? That series was shown on TV throughout the 70s or 80s, if I'm not mistaken. It was shown on network TV in America. And trust me when I say, even though some of what was being told in there is a bit of a myth because apparently it's supposed to be some type of story depicted from somebody's lineage. However, the depiction of slavery in Roots is so far from embellishing what actually happened that you calling that embellishment is a gross, and I do mean a very gross and irresponsible take on what Roots was, especially since there literally cannot be anything that is shown on network TV that would even come close to giving an accurate depiction of what slavery actually was, because you can't show that.
Well, nowadays in movies you can, like 7 Years a Slave or Django Unchained. I mean, I think those did a pretty good job depicting like the atrocities of slavery, right? Like, so maybe back then you couldn't show that, and maybe I guess on network TV, but there's movies who show that, that's for sure. But that's kind of an irrelevant side point.
That type of stuff on TV anyway. So the idea that was an embellishment, when the reality is that most media around slavery in the States has been utterly whitewashed, has been toned down, has been suppressed in so many ways, to come up with the take that it's been embellished when it's been the opposite. Again, very irresponsible. Same thing with Adam 22, where it seems like there's a bunch of white creators, of people who are creators, who infiltrate themselves in communities that they're not that familiar with, that they do not know much about, but they see the opportunity. When it comes to Adam 22, again, it was hip hop, and to validate himself in that space, he surrounded himself with.
So I actually disagree with this take. So I think this is like really assuming worst case scenario. In reality, Adam was a dude who was super into hip hop, so he created a podcast where he talked about hip hop, right? Like, just because you're white doesn't mean you can't like appreciate things that are primarily Black. Like hip hop, primarily Black, right? But you can be a white guy who really likes hip hop and is passionate about the culture. Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's kind of, I don't know. I think you're being non-generous when you assume that someone's just doing it for purely financial reasons. Pearly thinks the area she's in is not even primarily Black, right? She talks about manosphere stuff, which is very mixed. There's Black, white, Asian content creators talk about this stuff. It just so happened that she hired a lot of Black employees. I think that's probably because they were immigrants and she wanted to get away with paying them less. So yeah, kind of shitty thing to do. It's to some extent. That's basically capitalism. I mean, every company essentially does that. That's literally basic, capitalism is that you're probably going to hire people that will charge you the least, right? So your profit can be as high as possible. Like pretty much every company does that essentially.
With a bunch of Black people. However, he's so insensitive about the community and gave so little of a fuck about it. When given the opportunity, because he wanted to make the pivot, he brought in and own Ross's into the studio, interviewed him, and then told his black and brown employees, his employees of color, hey, y'all don't worry about who I got around here. Y'all just.
So he's missing a huge piece of context with the Adam controversy. So here's the thing. So initially it was AD, who was Adam's co-host, or if not familiar, is Black, who wanted to interview Nick Fuentes. So a few months before the whole Adam 22 controversy, Nick Fuentes was being interviewed by AD. And as far as I understand, AD was largely agreeing with him, so he wasn't even giving him any pushback. So because of that, Adam assumed that, okay, well, my Black co-host wanted to bring on someone who's a white supremacist. Why can't I bring on another, white supremacist and have him debate Destiny, who's like, on the other side of the spectrum, right? And they did have a debate. So I actually have absolutely zero issue with what Adam did. I think like, so what? This dude is a white supremacist. Okay, cool. Why not just debate the ideas? And I saw a little bit part of that debate. It was a healthy debate, you know? Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. So, yeah, he's leaving that key part of the story out.
Need to edit and upload these videos, get these clips out. Let's get it going now. And the same thing with Pearl. You are so insensitive to what's actually going on that you are
Also, another thing, during the Spencer interview, nothing racist was actually said. As far as Spencer says that he's actually reformed and he used to be racist, not anymore. I don't know if he actually believed him on that, but there wasn't really anything racist said as far as I remember during that interview. So I don't really see what the issue is. Like, obviously, I understand, like, if they're saying, like, dropping the N-bomb, saying racist shit, and you're having your black employees, like, edit that. Yeah, it's probably pretty fucked up. But that wasn't the case. It was a really tame debate.
Participating in a conversation that, quite frankly, you do not belong in, but to validate who you are in the space of the black manosphere or just relationships dealing with black people, you surrounded yourself with a bunch of black people, regardless if it's African Americans or Africans or someone with some form of descent through Africa. You surrounded yourself around those people to validate yourself, put yourself in conversations that you do not belong in, and when it's time to make the pivot, because the money drying up, because it's all.
But again, this is a bad take. She didn't surround herself with them just to validate herself, right? You don't need to have a bunch of black employees to be successful in the red pill community, right? It's very like, you know, like I don't see why you would need for the hip hop community. You can make the argument, but not for the red pill community. I think the reason she hired them is simple, like capitalist opportunism. She saw a group of people who were immigrants who were willing to work for less, right? That's it. It had nothing to do with the color of their skin. It had to do with the fact they were immigrants and they're willing to work for less money. I mean, I think it's as simple as that. I don't think that she did it to validate herself in any way.
How many times you can get off?
I found that my parents' relationship is easier because they've only dated each other and they've only had kids with each other.
There's so many times that you can get off.
If you're a virgin on your wedding night, you have an 80% chance of a happy marathon, but it drops to a 25% chance after like 5 to 7 partners. So you're basically ruined after like 5 to 7.
Y'all don't know no better, man. Y'all all you say you were 10, you were 10. Huh, y'all not 10. Well, how what's your dress size? How tall are you? So many times you can get that off. Now it's time to make the pivot. And you get.
She also got her statistics wrong. I believe that it drops to 55% chance of success when you get to 4 or 7 bodies. Either 60 or 55%, but she's got her numbers flipped, so she's wrong about that. That's just, I know the study she's talking about. I've read that study in detail.
You give so little of a fuck about the people that you surrounded yourself with, who helped you build the platform, who you participate in the community with, that when you got the opportunity to bring on some more content, potentially your real color showed and you brought in somebody who's a racist, but didn't surround yourself with the people, those same people that you've been surrounding yourself with the entire time.
But why was it not a controversy when AD brought on Nick Fuentes? Like, why is it a controversy like for Pearl? So it's okay for AD, and I think it's okay for both of them to talk to Nick Fuentes, but no one made a big deal of it when AD brought on Nick Fuentes. But when Pearly Things brings him on, that's an issue. Like, it's kind of a little bit of a double standard, if you ask me, I guess.
None of them were a part of the dialogue. None of them were part of the conversation. You didn't inform yourself to actually give pushback when it comes to those black women, though. You real quick with them. You quick with.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she should have informed herself more before that. You know, it was an important podcast. She should have prepared more. She should have had the facts. You know, she didn't do that. That was poor preparation on her part. I agree with that completely.
Those comebacks, but when it came to Nick Fuentes, for whatever reason, you thought it was acceptable for you to sit down with somebody and be ill-informed about that, even though that conversation is much more serious and much more severe than a fucking quirky, oh man, what do you look for in a man? But you still sat down, and once it was all done, you said, all right, let's get this going, chop this up, send this out, edit it, thumbnail, title it, make sure we get it live. And you're telling this to black people. You not understand how fucking crazy that sounds right now, bro?
I think it's not even like as much of a black issue, surprisingly. I think it's more of like a wanting to succeed by any means issue. Because
for sure,
she's seeing other people get in the same problem for having the same guy on their fucking network, not knowing what they're talking about, letting him get his talking points off, and having nothing to rebut him with. Literally, we talked about it a fucking week ago. But
yeah, so like if I ever had Nick Fuentes on, and I've actually already invited him on for debate, he kind of declined. Apparently, he's very, very selective with who he debates. He kind of like really cherry picks his debates. But if I had him on, I would definitely spend like at least a day preparing, so I have all the facts, so I can just push back with statistics. So yeah, like I do think you should prepare for big debates like that. But in Pearly's defense, she does like a fucking 5 million podcasts a day, so maybe she just didn't think it was going to be a big deal.
Even before that, I seen him in conversations with people just on regular live streams as well. I don't hear from this nigga when he's by himself. Niggas is deciding to give him a platform. If you're going to give him a platform, at least have a conversation worth having. Don't go in there uninformed. So I think it's just like when you're incentivized to want to say and do extreme things all the time, those are the type of guests you're going to want. Because you're not even thinking about like having a productive conversation as much as you want. You know he's going to say something wild. You know you're going to have a headline, and you're probably not going to be the one catching the flack for it. That nigga is. So
yeah, that is unfortunately how YouTube works. They are right. You are incentivized to have on like polarizing people. If I have on someone who's like smart, balanced, intelligent, 100, 150 live viewers. If I have on some crazy motherfucker, 400, 500 live viewers. So yes, YouTube incentivizes you the way the algorithm works, the way people gravitating towards. You're incentivized to have on kind of crazier, more polarizing type of figures.
Oh, but when people see it in the back, I think like, oh, look, there's a podcast over here. You know,
as a side note, my solution to that is to do both. So I'll do like a lot of value streams where I'll just have on like intelligent people who I know won't get much views, but I still think it's good content. Like I had on that a lead attorney, right? I thought that was a really good podcast. I had on that what's his name? That OnlyFans dude. I thought that was a really good podcast. So I'll do value streams, and once in a while I'll also do like drama streams like this. So I try to do both.
Times people are going to start tuning into your podcast because they start seeing it everywhere. So it's actually in her interest. She is fully incentivized to want to bring people on that are egregious like him, have takes that are very extreme, because it's going to give her content to work with. That's going to be a clip she can get off on YouTube. That's going to be I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you how it works. And we never really did that with our pod. We didn't even really look for people when we
did
did
the opposite.
We just like if you had a good story,
but we
had
had somebody on the pod who was saying very extreme things. The gentleman.
Oh, we never uploaded.
And we never uploaded it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so there is a level of responsibility that you should have as a content creator, especially when you're having conversations to that level of severity. And I agree with you. It is a lot of someone just seeing the opportunity and pivoting. What I'm saying, what's still happening, and I think it's crazy, is that I think that there are people who are being propped up in Black communities, because we keep an eye to ourselves, the ongoing dialogue with the manosphere and this ongoing traditional woman. The conversation that we've been having for the last year and a half now, almost 2, has been, let's keep it a bean, on social media, has been popping because of Black creators. Not saying there aren't other creators doing it, but the ones who have made it popular the most are Black creators. And I think Pearly Things saw an opportunity, infiltrated in the conversation.
Let me think about that. So who are the most popular people in the manosphere? We have Kevin Samuels before he passed away. He was Black. Fresh and Fit, who are Black. Yeah, I mean, Hamza, though, he's, I guess, like, what is he, like Arab or something like that? Or something along the lines of that. Yeah, you can make an argument like that. I don't know if it actually has anything to do with their skin color. I think it might be a coincidence, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about that. I mean, yeah, is there any really popular, like, white, like, red pill dudes that I know of? Andrew Tate, actually, he's white. Well, actually, no, he's half Black, but I think 90% of people who watch this shit don't even know that he's half Black. I don't know.
To validate herself in that convo, surrounding herself with a bunch of Black people. The reason why I say it is because when you listen to her talk, even about the relationship shit, bro, she just says things, bro. It sounds like she's pandering to people. She sounds like, as they call it, a pick-me. It doesn't sound like she has any.
So that I agree with. I agree with that take completely.
Actual intellectual thoughts, nothing really contextualized. It just sounds like she's regurgitating the same talking points that she heard from someone else, and she just wants to be even more extreme about it. I.e.,
I don't think.
But again, that criticism applies to pretty much the whole red pill community.
No, I don't think women should vote.
Lord Jesus, keep on going.
Because there's freedom without responsibility. I believe in consequences for your decision. So the men know if they vote someone batshit crazy into power, you guys get drafted. We don't.
Come on.
All right. Okay, there hasn't been a draft in 60 years. No one's going to do a draft. It's political suicide. I mean, you could vote in the most batshit crazy person. Their advisors are going to tell them not to do a draft. So, yeah, I think that's a kind of a weak take.
That's a fucking incredible quote.
Come on. Women should vote because they don't want to have the responsibility of going to war.
That's what I'm saying.
That's such a crazy take to have.
I think social media incentivizes people to want to be more. We talked about that with Logan Paul when he went to the forest. I think that was the first time we seen an incident where everybody agreed like that was too far and your pursuit of more got. Okay,
here's another hot take. This is going to be controversial. I personally think the whole Logan Paul forest thing was a complete overreaction. So if you're not familiar with what happened, Logan Paul did a hike in the forest in Japan. It's called like the Suicide Forest, and there's a bunch of dead bodies. He documented that. Poor taste, yes. But like, should he get canceled over that? No. Like, I didn't see that as like nearly as big of a deal. I think what's much bigger of a deal is the massive crypto scam that he just finished doing, right? That is a big deal. Like, people should be upset about that. But the Suicide Forest, I don't see that as like big potatoes. Mildly insensitive, sure, but not something that someone should be canceled over, not something that should cause a massive controversy.
You in trouble. But now we're seeing it in all these small ways ever since that forest incident, and they'll never get as much like flack as Logan did because Logan did was crazy, but also he was at the top of the YouTube game back then. But I guarantee you, if this was like the biggest podcast ever, like if this was Joe Rogan's podcast and he did that, niggas being torn up for that. And Joe Rogan has in the past went into conversations and not knowing what he's talking about. There's no way to be an expert about anything, and you can't always guide the conversation. But in this specific instance, you went out your way to find somebody else going to say something extreme, rather than Joe, who just has interesting, philosophical, sometimes otherwise just dumb conversations with people who sometimes can be smart or sometimes can be dumb. But like, you kind of have a responsibility to know what you're talking about, and you give off the guys, at least to the people that watch you, that you have a level of expertise when it comes to the relationship thing. But I think that just about anybody who watched that specific video will know that unfortunately you don't have no expertise.
Just to reiterate the issue again, this is again something probably a lot of people don't consciously like think about because you're not content creators. As a content creator, this is like a massive dilemma, and I've talked about this in videos where the more like intellectual, like value type of content, no one gives a shit about, or very few people give a shit about. The crazy polarizing drama is what gets views. So it's like, well, you want to grow your channel, you don't want to sell out, but if you don't do some of that stuff, your channel won't grow nearly as much. So it's like, it's always like for me, again, the kind of the compromise I have in my mind is I'll just do both. I'll put out a lot of value and I'll do maybe like 20% drama type of shit coverage, right? So that's kind of the compromise I've reached. But for some content creators, it's like, like I could grow way faster if I just focus on drama. Like, that's kind of like the fresh and fit model. It's like, fuck that. Like, let's just focus on the drama.
Expertise when it comes to any of the conversation you was having with Nick Fuentes. You're not there yet, and just inform yourself. And that's like a process.
Literally it. It's just a process.
But nowadays, niggas just trying to think about how you can make revenue off it. And low key, I understand at the same time because you have people that you have hired that you disrespected on set, but you have people that you need to pay. There's bills that's you get hit every month regardless. So if your revenue falls off the map, that could be your business going under. That's the reality. In America and in most capitalist societies, bro, business is supposed to survive by any means necessary. So if there's something a business can do to survive and it hasn't explored it, usually you have to explore it. You have to explore it. Like businesses don't have morals, they don't have ethics. And even though they probably should, it's why it's so ruthless. Niggas don't care.
Not all businesses, but yes, capitalism is, there a lot of people do very unethical things in the pursuit of money. That is for sure. But yeah, like you think like Walmart or like Starbucks, really cares about its employees and trying to look out for them. No, they're trying to maximize their profit. That's kind of how big corporations work in general.
About you. It's why your contracts have to be ironclad, because otherwise it just leaves room for someone to interpret it incorrectly and fuck you over in court. That's the reality of it. So I understand her trying to keep her business alive, doing a pivot into a different style of content, but you can ease your way into it. Use your brain. You can have more easy conversations with people about other life-related things without going to such a crazy extreme. If you're going to do it, just be ready for the conversation. Inform yourself on what the fuck you think he's going to talk about, or just guide the convo better. Tell him this, and this is going to be the topics. We don't want to deviate from those topics. If it's your fucking show, you make the rules. So
I agree with that. Yeah, like you can't really disagree with that.
You create the rules, and if he's not playing that framework, pack him up. In reality, man, you let him get his talking points off like this, and then
you agreed upon it as well. Is just insane. Before I get into my personal opinion about everything, I just want to be clear again. Even in the most optimistic lens, looking at it, I don't. And also in a general sense, I don't think Pearly is a Ross or anything like that. I just think in the most optimistic lens, it seems like somebody who's trying to pivot into another form of content, who's very uninformed, but doing it just to capitalize off of the momentum, and I think that's very irresponsible.
So that is exactly my thoughts too. I don't think she's a racist. I think that it was in poor taste, and I think that she went into an area that she doesn't know much about, and that's basically it. But she shouldn't get canceled. She shouldn't have people unwilling to work with her. It was like she could have done a lot better, sure, but that doesn't make her a racist.
My personal feelings behind it is I think, Pearly, you are a grifter. I think you are somebody who just panders. I think you're someone who says things that just needs to be said to keep the conversation going, because even by your own rhetoric and your beliefs in terms of relationship, you don't abide by that either. Like the things that you criticize the women for, you don't.
But that's the thing. She could just be a hypocrite, right? Like a lot of people are hypocrites, right? Like for example, is there a debate that Myron believes the stuff he says? I think everyone pretty much agrees that Myron believes. Even his biggest critics would be like, yeah, he believes in this shit. But he doesn't live by it, right? But he believes in it. So you can people have these weird double standard hypocrisy. So just because she doesn't live by it doesn't mean she doesn't believe in it, right? So I think that's an important thing to point out. You can believe in something and not do it, and that's what makes you a hypocrite, right?
Don't abide by it. You are someone who was in their 20s, the woman who's in their 20s, who's extremely opinionated, career-oriented, and focused, which is something that you do not suggest for other people as well. And when anybody actually intelligent gives you pushback, and then you bring on other people who aren't prepared for the conversations a lot of times, just so you and the same concept that many other people do, so you can dunk on them. But then when you get some form of pushback, you can clearly see that you're just not as informed, even when it comes to the relationship situation, as much as you would like to be. And so when
I agree with that take.
It comes across like you're pandering in there. And so now it's the time for you to go pander somewhere else. You brought in an extremist and you pander to him. That's what it comes across as. But let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, I think they mostly got things right with the exception of the stuff that I pointed out. So I thought this was a much better take on the whole situation. All right, let's take a quick look at some questions, and then we'll go through the apology. Corporations care up to a degree. It's not like they want people to be miserable. Most corporations focus on maximizing money, and sometimes that is a good thing for the employees. Like, look at the controversy that's going on with Starbucks right now. Howard Schultz is being subpoenaed by Bernie Sanders, in Congress, because Howard Schultz and his, billion-dollar company, multi-billion-dollar company, has been very aggressively engaging in union-busting activities. Now, look, I'm not going to get into a whole thing about whether I think unions are right or wrong, but the fact of the matter is that it's illegal, to do some shady union busting tactics. And, there's a whole bunch of things that Starbucks has been, kind of exposed on doing to break up unions, right? So why do they want to break up unions? Well, if Starbucks employees unionize, they have to pay them more money. So yeah, I do think big corporations generally focus on maximizing profit. I mean, I don't think that's even a controversial take. That's just like kind of what it is. I'm not saying that we should get rid of capitalism, by the way. I think capitalism is the best system. I'm just saying, with everything, there's pros and cons. You have to understand there's going to be cons with capitalism. Okay, what else do we have? I don't know why people are arguing about other shit. I mean, I feel like this is a very interesting topic. You guys are all fucking arguing about Greg and fucking other shit and like Stefan. Who gives a fuck? Like, I feel like this is way more interesting. Okay, what else do we have? T. Trump just Pearly thinks it said all scam artists. They fucked over billions of people, money, and fucked with our minds. Oh, okay. It's going to be interesting. They're not in the same category. That's the thing. You can't put Trump and Pearly things in the same category. And you can't put Tate and Pearly things in the same category. I would say that Pearly things is definitely the mildest one on the list when it comes to like potential. Like, does Pearly things even, like, how does she make money? Does she have like a product that she sells? I believe she just makes money from YouTube ad revenues. So it's not really fair to put her in the same category as someone who has a course, right? Whether the course is right or wrong. So yeah, I mean, I can expand on that more if you guys want me to, but. Would you avoid offensive collabs like Nick Fuentes or Kanye-like characters in general? Only if I thought it would get me canceled. And I don't think either one of those would get me canceled. So no, I would not. I would definitely be, I would definitely be more prepared for the discussion than, Pearl was. But no, I would not avoid collaborating with them. Bernie Sanders is a communist. You should just shame yourself out since you came from Belarus, which is another communist shithole. Okay. First of all, Bernie Sanders is not a communist. He's a socialist. There is a difference there. And he's not a complete socialist. Complete socialism means like the government owns anything. He believes that there should be more socialism. I'm not saying I agree with him, right? I generally tend to err on the side of capitalism. But every single first world country is a mix of socialism and capitalism. Schools, firefighters, police, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, military, welfare. These are all social programs, right? Like we have that. So America is already a mix of capitalism, socialism. I don't think it should become more socialistic, right? So I'm not saying that. I'm just explaining the fact that Bernie Sanders subpoenaing Howard Schultz for potentially breaking the law. So it's completely missed my point. Alex, do you get the speedometer yet if someone's the measurement video happening? Yes, I just got it. I have to set it up. I'll do it tomorrow. Alex, most of the chat is white. They don't care about potential racism. I don't know if that's fair to say, though. Like, there's white people who care about that. Like, I don't like racism, right? Like, I would call it out if I saw it. So I don't think it's fair just to say that, like, because you're white, you don't care about racism. What are the pros and cons of capitalism? There are only pros. There are definitely cons to capitalism. So first of all, pure capitalism tends to breed crony capitalism. So crony capitalism, for anyone who's not familiar, is basically when people who have a lot of money, they're influencing the system to bend the rules in their favor. And in America, we have some elements of crony capitalism because, again, you have a group of people who has billions of dollars. What are they going to do with those billions of dollars? They're going to influence politicians, right? So generally, pure capitalism tends to lead to crony capitalism, right? But if we're taking that aside, just taking crony capitalism aside, we're just talking about pure capitalism, the issue that you're going to have is that a very few amount of people are going to have a lot, and a lot of people are not going to have much, which is why you have social programs like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, schools, firefighters to kind of balance out the gap, right? Which is why you look at Scandinavian countries who are a little bit more on the socialistic side, a little bit less on the capitalistic side. They have much more of a middle class, but there's not as many rich and poor, right? So again, you can use the government to kind of balance out the excess of capitalism. The question is to which extent you should go, because I don't think anyone's going to argue that we should get rid of schools or firefighters or police, right? I think even the biggest capitalists would say, yeah, we should have those. Okay, well, you just agreed to social programs, right? So the question is to which extent you want to go into, and that's a whole topic for another day. Alex, is a chat toxic? Yes, is Greg. Help Amon to touch the chat yourself that, man. I don't know. I mean, I've had a discussion with Greg. I politely asked him not to engage in the bit back and forth. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he's doing the best he can. Okay, what else do we have? That's the one person I probably would not interview, because I think that dude is just like a scum, like the scum of humanity. I think like people like Kanye West and Fuentes have like redeeming qualities, even though they're like some very shitty things about them. But I think that dude is just like a fucking. There's no redeeming qualities about him. I think he's just a massive piece of shit. So no. Also, he's not a content creator. So with like Fuentes or Kanye, I wouldn't actually be giving them like extra like a platform, because they already have a platform. With that dude, I would actually be legitimately giving him a platform. So no, I would not. I don't even know why people are saying like I support Bernie. I've never voted for Bernie. I've never like publicly talked about how much I want Bernie to be president. My ideal candidate is like Tulsi Gabbard. So yeah, I'm definitely not on the Bernie side, but there are some things that he points out which are accurate. Okay. Can you be racist towards white people? Yes, you can. Absolutely. I would say a good example of that is O'Shea Duke Jackson. The dude literally says straight up, I will not collaborate with white people. I try not to collaborate with white people. If you're not willing to collaborate with someone based on the color of their skin, then you are being racist towards that group of category. I mean, can you imagine what would happen if I was to say, hey, guys, yeah, I'm not going to have the lead attorney on because I don't collaborate with black people. I mean, like, dude, like there would be massive outrage, and rightfully so, because that would be really fucked up. But like when O'Shea Duke Jackson says it, no one gives him pushback. So yeah, I do think that's I do think that's racism, and I think that's pretty fucked up. Yeah, what else do we have? Playing with fire, if you were president, what's the one policy you'd adopt and the one you would drop? Oh, there's so many things I would love to change. Let me think. What would be like I would be most passionate about? I mean, I would love to legalize marijuana, but like that's not probably my biggest issue. I would probably, the biggest thing I would want to do is take corruption out of politics. So I would make lobbying illegal. I would remove lobbying. I think that could, in of itself, go a long way to fix the issue. I think bribery should be heavily punished. If a politician gets caught taking a bribe, should go in jail for 10 years, no exception. So I think bribery should be pursued very aggressively when it comes to politics. I think lobbying should be not allowed. So that's one thing I would change. What's something that I would adopt? I mean, I don't know, man. Like I would probably like to see America spend its money more responsibly. Like I think it's good if we get to a neutral budget where we're not like spending more money than we actually bring in. I think we should close corporate loopholes, because it's pretty crazy that like fucking Amazon pays less taxes than me. I think we should I don't think we should raise taxes or anything. If anything, it would be nice if we could lower taxes, although we're in too much in debt for that. But I do think we should close corporate loopholes, right? Those are just like, again, loopholes. Like, why is there loopholes? Okay. Alex, would you take a pickup chance against someone on a cold approach? Yeah, if it's the right person, if it's something that's gonna something that's gonna perform well. So that's why I said I'll do it with Ganstar. If Rolo wants to do it, I would do it with Rolo. I'm not gonna do it with like some random person though. Like I don't think that would really like be worth my time. Do you think socialism for the people and capitalism for the corporations would work better than the verse that exists right now? Well, I don't know how you can have socialism for the people and pure capitalism for corporations. You have to have one or the other. You can't just have, because are you saying like we're not going to tax corporations? So you'd have to expand. What do you mean by that? Would you vote Tulsi even though she's Republican now? I'd have to like evaluate what her positions are, but I liked her positions during the last election in 2016. If her positions have changed, then probably not. But if she still holds the same exact positions, then yeah. I mean, I like the fact that she's one of the only politicians who talks about like ending the nonstop wars. Stop like kind of like stopping the interventionist policies that have like we've been doing for the last 60 years. Slowing down the military-industrial complex, and this coming from someone who's a soldier. She pushes back a lot on a lot of the PC, so SJW shit. Yeah, she's a big free speech advocate. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to like investigate what her policies are now. What do you think about DeSantis? I don't know. I mean, I have like mixed feelings on him. I think he did a good job with Florida, generally speaking. But I'm not a big fan of like the whole, like, I think he goes on these vendettas. Like he went on this massive vendetta against Disney because they spoke out against him. I really don't like the voter fraud stunt that he pulled. If you guys want to, check that out, just type in DeSantis voter fraud stunt. That was, he put a lot of innocent people, not a lot, but like several dozen innocent people in jail over nothing. So yeah, I have like mixed feelings about him. I mean, he's very much a TradCon Republican, right? He's not about legalizing weed, right? Which is something I think should be done. He's not about ending the constant nonstop wars. So he wouldn't be my first choice. He would be like, near the bottom of the list. But I do like, his policies on COVID. I like the fact that he kept Florida largely open. I'm a big fan of that. So as you see, like, I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm probably closest to a libertarian. Okay, what else do we have? Are you opening the panel? Yes, we are opening. Hey, Alex, my friend wants to do potentially friendly pickup competition against you if you make some good content. Yeah, it's just like a random person who's not popular on YouTube. I don't think it would be worth my time, honestly. I'd have to spend a few days going out because I haven't done cold approach in a while. So it'd be like a 4 or 5 day, commitment for me. If it was like against a big YouTuber, I would definitely do it. And I would do it against Ganstar because I admitted to, I agreed to it. But yeah, it'd have to be someone like notable. Okay. Currently, whenever corporations do stupid shit, go on bail some out of the guys are saving the country instead of letting things fail would happen. True cowboys. That is true. That is true. I don't know how we got into politics from like fucking potential racism. 10:15, babe. Okay, we just got through most of the questions. What do you think about the oil pill guys constantly ranting about sluts being evil and wanting to smash as many of them? Yeah, it's just an excellent example of hypocrisy. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of hypocrisy, generally speaking. Why do you think the Indian P video has a lot more views than usual? I just think, I don't know. I really don't have a good answer to that. I think that it resonated with a lot of people. I don't know. I guess a lot of people, most of the views came from like search. So people were searching. It wasn't like the algorithm pushed the video. It was like 95% of those views came from people searching. So I guess it was just a topic that a lot of people were looking for information on. And that was the best video. Has Austin reported? He has not responded. I don't think that means he's frightened. I just think he probably forgot to respond. I'll follow up with him. Thoughts on Hasanabi? Not a fan. I think that dude is massive hypocrite. I mean, he like fucking obsesses about socialism. At the same time, he lives literally in a $3 million house and drives, I believe, a Porsche or whatever. He said that we brought 9/11 on ourselves. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that dude. Okay, let's see. I guess the last thing I want to cover on this is her apology, and then we'll open up the panel because I do think it's important that we cover her apology. Okay, the apology is not that long either. It's only like 10 minutes. So let me share the screen and then we'll get into it.
Well, welcome to Morning Coffee Thoughts, where I give my thoughts over morning coffee. Today I have a chai tea. I quit coffee. You guys don't care about what I'm drinking. Okay. Today, I'm going to be addressing the Nick Fuentes situation. Yeah, I know why you guys are here. Okay. So.
I don't know why she starts off her apology talking about her coffee. Pearly says like some of the most random shit sometimes.
I want to first say I take full accountability for everything that happened. Everything that happens in life, as I say to the girls on my show, is my own fault. The fact that people are making these videos is my own fault. And the situation that I'm in is my own fault. Now I'm going to give you guys an explanation and give you guys context for some of the conversations that were had. Just know it's not an excuse. It's my own fault. I take full accountability for everything that happened. Okay. So, but I'm going to answer questions that people have brought my way. So the first thing is, why did you have Nick on? So, the reasoning behind having Nick Fuentes on was because I heard that he was on the no-fly list and he lost his bank account. Now, from your point of view, you would think, why would you invite someone on that's on the no-fly list, right? That would be a bad. Well, he's not.
That is crazy that you can get put on the no-fly list just for like being like somewhat racist, or I guess moderately racist. Like for sure, Nick should be like, like people should call him out. But I think it's pretty extreme to put him on the no-fly list. He's not like a terrorist. He's never like harmed anyone. He's never like engaged in any physical violence, as far as I know. Like, why would you put him on the no-fly list? Like, that should only be for terrorists and people who are like violent. I don't see why they're just like, if you're like moderately racist, you have to be on the no-fly list. I don't know.
Anymore. That's how he flew, but he was. So I was more just curious why this man was banned and everything. Now, I've seen a lot of videos that say I play dumb or I'm playing dumb. And I'll tell you what I knew and what I didn't know. So I did know that he was a known racist. I did know he was a known sexist. I did know that basically every bad name in the book, from the right and the left, everyone hated him. So,
well, Pearl, to be fair, you have to also acknowledge that you're somewhat sexist when you say shit like women shouldn't vote. I mean, and I'm not like necessarily saying that you have to change your ideology, but like you guys both kind of share that in common when it comes to the sexism part.
The reason I had him on was because, guys, people say that stuff about me. They say I'm sexist. They say I'm a misogynist. And, I really just like to give people the benefit of the doubt when I interview them. I don't go into interviews trying to interrogate someone. I just more try to listen and see where they're coming from. In hindsight,
that is true. That is kind of her style. It's different than my style. It's different than the Fresh and Fit style to some extent. She does generally tend to just like let people talk. So that is kind of her style.
That wasn't smart. And in hindsight, I should have had someone, maybe Sarah Garvey, maybe another content creator that could have pushed back more and really was more educated on the topics that he was talking about than I was, because I certainly was not an expert in any of the stuff that he was talking about. I did remove the interview. I, again, did not think through a lot of the repercussions of posting that, so I just removed it. If you do want to see the full interview, Obsidian did react to it. That's on his channel. The intention was not, I guess, to hide it. It was just, this might not have been the best move. I'm just going to remove it now. So again, racism has no place in society, and I do take accountability for bringing him on. Hindsight's always 2020. I wrote down some of the complaints that people had. So if I look this way, it's just because I made bullet points of everyone's concerns, and I'm just addressing them. Okay. My Africans, that part. So in the heat of the conversation, I made some remarks to my producer, Blessing. Now, Blessing is a godsend. Okay, Blessing has made the production quality literally phenomenal. He's so talented. And during this conversation, we were talking about immigration, and I said, I'm trying to get my Africans to America. Now, I watched it back, guys. It was so cringy. Oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing. I met my African employees. I just said Africans. The reason is because, like, why wouldn't you just say my employees or whatever to America? The African passport system is just more difficult than the UK one. I didn't know, like, Blessing had to go to the embassy.
Yeah, so that's kind of what was my take on that as well. So I didn't actually watch this like completely beforehand, so I wasn't just like copying her when she said that. That was kind of my take as well, is that she was talking about from an immigration perspective, not from like a race perspective.
Or something to apply to go to America with me next month. We're going to go do some work there. And yeah, and so I've just found that the immigration process is a bit more difficult. So that's why I referred to them, because my African employees, I needed more help with. And, I was saying in the interview that I wanted more open border policies because I wanted them to come. Again, you know, I really respect the African culture. I had no ill will or malice towards any of that. But it sounded absolutely awful. It was so cringy watching back.
It wasn't really that bad. It was a poor choice of words, but there was like so far. It was a bad joke. Like, okay, who gives a fuck?
You know, so it was stupid. It was stupid. Okay, now let's talk about My Africans was the other one, and then the joke about Blessing being late. So one thing that they cut out from that clip was that Nick Fuentes did say after, "Oh, I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm just kidding." Okay, now. Even so, it was still in poor taste. And what I didn't think about at the time was, sorry, for those that didn't see it, basically Nick Fuentes was talking.
She's like all over the place. She probably should have like prepared a little bit better for this apology. Like she probably should have like done a few test runs. Feels like she's just like she's like wasn't prepared for that interview. Now she's not really prepared for this. Like her mind is like all over the place.
Talking about he's always late. And I said, "You're on time today." Oh, Blessing was the one that's late. And it's sort of an inside joke here at Just Pearly Things. Like Blessing is just, he's phenomenal, but he's just he's a late guy. And every time he comes in, he says African time. Now, Pearl me. So when I was referring to him during this joke, I was like, African. Now, I was saying African time, referring to what he says when he comes in. Now, what I realized is this was especially disrespectful because we did have someone that's a known white supremacist race. Like, you know, making that joke in front of him, with him is.
Oh, Christ. It was just a joke, man.
Just in poor taste. And I did apologize to him for it. I really had no malice or ill will. But, you know, stupid. It was just stupid. Okay. The next thing is I've gotten a lot of criticism for, you know, using the Black culture and then I'm going right and leaving it, like that sort of thing. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but that seems to be a big point of contention. My intention was never to be, you know, quote unquote leader in the Black manosphere or the manosphere in general. I really have always just looked at the men as the lead. I mean, they're the thought leaders. Let's just be honest. And me, I try to support them in any way I can. You know, I bring them on my show, but saying I'm a leader in the space, you know, I feel like women follow, men lead. So I really think, yeah, that's just my opinion. Now, the other thing was the demographic of the women on my show. Guys, I haven't done recruiting in months. So when I started, I never expected it to blow up this fast. I never in my life thought I'd have 1 million subscribers in a year. I wrote my goals for the year before and it was 100,000. I thought I'd maybe get 100K by the end of the year. Okay, that's what I thought. Now, everything blew up so fast and I haven't done recruiting since maybe July. The only time I have is maybe to help out if we're low on a show. So like, or if there's a really big panel like the Andrew Tate panel, I handpicked everyone that was on that. But in general, guys, I really don't recruit. I think one reason that there have been so many Black people on the show is because the recruiter that I picked was Nigerian. And he just had the type of job that he could recruit while he went on the job. And he knew a lot of people. He was already in the podcast space. He was just a good recruiter. So it makes sense that he knows more Nigerian women. Again, if you watch the full thing, I was more referring to the system of using atrocities to. I like don't even want to tell you guys what I was trying to say because it wasn't what came out and it doesn't even matter. Again, if you watch the full thing, I was more referring to the system of using atrocities to control people. That's what I was trying to say. But to say that it wasn't that it was embellished is so stupid, insensitive. And nor am I, you know, sure I've read a couple books, but I'm not informed or qualified enough to really have that conversation. So not bringing.
Well, that was my take exactly. She just didn't have the information. She was just repeating some shit she saw on a podcast.
Someone else onto the show. Again, stupid. Now the next thing is that my friend Gabby came on the show with him, and she's dating someone that is Black. And he would say openly racist comments to her. Now I should have pushed back on that. Like I've been in an interracial relationship. So for me to not push back on that, especially with all of the people that have been on my show, was stupid. It was stupid.
Yeah, I mean, she probably should have pushed back against that. I agree with that. I mean, I would have been like, Nick, but you're a secretly gay guy who's a virgin. Like, come on, dude. You're the last person who should be criticizing other people's relationships. So yeah, she probably should have pushed back against that if it's her coworker and friend that's being attacked for her relationship.
You know, I was kind of like a deer in the headlights. I didn't know what to say. I was like, oh gosh. And the video we were watching wasn't even supposed to be about that. So I really don't have an excuse. It was just stupid. And again, I take full accountability for this stuff. And, you know, if I had to do it over again, I would do it differently, but I can only move forward. So, sorry, I want to make sure.
All right, anyway, I think that's the gist of it. I'm getting kind of bored of this shit, but yeah, fucking most anticlimactic, boring, fucking useless controversy ever. Honestly, like a fucking chick who doesn't really know much talks to like a racist, and it's such a dumb controversy. Like, I understand if like some people like don't want to fuck with her after that, but like, I don't know, the virtue signaling I see going on sometimes is like so crazy. It's like the first video we watched, like, dude, Jesus Christ, man, like, come on, like, we see what you're doing here, like, we're not retarded. I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's basically it. So, but conclusion, don't think Pearly's a racist. I don't think she's anything close to a racist. I think she's just a chick who's young, who didn't really know any better, who said some dumb and sensitive shit, who made some mistakes. But I definitely don't think she should be canceled or whatever the fuck held responsible means. So that's my take. All right, let's drop the link. Let's do a little quick open panel for like half an hour, and then we'll do the we'll wrap up. Let's do. Actually, I want to do I want to do a poll and see what you guys think about this. So let me actually do a quick poll. Okay, I got to go to the channel. Hold up, I just want to do this poll real quick. Ah, fuck it, whatever. It's giving me a hard time. I'll just do it another time. What's up?
Hello.
You're excited to see me, so you want to chat with me?
No, I just wanted to add some points because I think that I don't think she's a racist per se, because she did have an African American boyfriend. But now that I think about it, this was a guy who had a lot of clout and she wanted to become a YouTuber. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she was kind of using him. But I think that the fact that you interview someone who's a non-racist and she kind of took his side instead of giving him some type of a pushback. And I do think that when we allowed other people to kind of mistreat others, or when we kind of support their messaging or justify their messaging, we're giving them permission to act kind of like that way. We're kind of telling them like, hey, it's okay to do this kind of unethical or wrong things. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I said I think she should have been better prepared for the conversation. I think she should have given him pushback, but that in of itself doesn't make her a racist.
I mean, I'm not saying she's a racist, but I think that she definitely does deserve some type of pushback and some type of criticism, because she's someone who has a 1 million followers on YouTube. She kind of like has taken advantage of, like, I imagine like a lot of her audience, it's African American.
That's not necessarily true. I don't think there's. I think most of her audience is white.
Didn't you say that like a lot of African
No,
American?
I think some, yeah, but I think still primarily her audience is, I probably would say more. I mean, her audience is like 95% men. I'm sure there's maybe like 20-30% black, but I still think it's majority white.
Yeah, I do think that yeah, I do think that there definitely needs to be some pushback from her, and there's not canceling per se, but I think that criticism, it's highly deserved in this case. And from the guy you reacted to the video, I agree with a lot of the points he was
Which one? I reacted to a few.
the first guy.
Like, what specifically did you agree?
I agree with mostly of the comments that she works with a lot of African Americans. That's
So?
an insult to her African American employees.
But we don't know if she checked with them. Maybe she checked with them before inviting him on.
But even if she checked with them, like, I just think that just having someone, let's say that if you were to have someone who was racist towards Colombians, just the fact that you're putting that on the table and just the fact that you're giving this person a platform. I think that's highly insensitive.
No, I disagree with that. I think you should be able to have conversations with people who really believe in really bad thing. I do agree with your point is that you should be quick to give them pushback, but I would totally, like, it's not even a matter of would I've emailed Nick Fuentes' team to have him on my podcast. I would love to debate him on this shit. So yeah, I think this whole idea of like, you can only talk to people who are like, you know, like on the same side as you is kind of silly. I think you should be able to talk to people who are extreme.
Not necessarily on the same side as you, but do you believe that everyone deserves to have conversations, to give them the floor for conversations? You believe that yeah, we should allow everyone to have their voice?
Most people, yeah. I mean, I think as long as that person, like, it depends on the person. Like the Charleston white guy, I don't think he has any redeeming qualities. I don't think he has any intelligent thing to say. I don't think I would have a engaging conversation with him. So I probably would not give him a platform.
I'm not
But Nick Fuentes, yeah, he's just like kind of like a dude who's like publicly admitted to raping girls, white girls though, not black girls. He wants to be very clear about that. But like someone like Nick Fuentes, he's an intelligent dude. He does already have a massive audience. And I think that, yeah, I think there's a good chance, like, for example, that's how you kind of bridge the gap. Like if you debate someone and you make really good points, you might be able to kind of sway some of their audience. You're not going to change them, but it is good to give people, like, to challenge bad ideas and have discussions with people who think differently than you.
Who is a non-racist who's been banned, who's someone who's in the non-flight list?
Yeah, I don't care about any of that.
I mean, so like, what does it take to be like, okay, this is someone who I don't think I want to platform?
If I feel like they don't have any redeeming qualities and I feel like it would be a boring discussion or not an interesting discussion.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't like the fact that this is a girl who's like highly a grifter. She takes just the side of whomever.
But what is she selling that she's grifting on? Like
I think that she's just her ideas. I don't think
grifting implies a profit motive. So what is she grifting on? Like, what is her course?
Okay, maybe I'm not using the word correctly then. Maybe I missed.
Well, you're not, right? A grifter is like someone, for example, like people call.
I don't find her to be genuine. This is someone who I don't find to be genuine. I don't find that her messaging goes for what she like. If she like, she will say whatever it's popular and whatever it's gonna get her views, and I find her to be a high hypocrite.
Yeah, she's definitely a hypocrite.
She's like, at the end of the day, she's saying that if you
there's a big difference between someone being disgenuine and someone being a grifter, right? A lot of people.
I take that back. I take that back. I did not use the word correctly.
Yeah, I do think she panders. I think that criticism applies to literally the whole red pill community. So I don't think it's fair to just put that on her. It's literally her whole community. All they do is pander, and that's actually honestly most YouTubers. They pander. They're hypocrites. I mean, yeah, that's like, that's the community. That's the majority of the community.
I mean, you cannot say that okay, like a woman should stay at home and then have a very successful career, and she probably makes a lot of money, right?
Yeah, well, that makes her a hypocrite.
If you don't believe that women should have a voice, then shut the fuck up, because you don't believe that your voice matters. If you think that
I've already agreed that she's a hypocrite. I've said that. A woman
who has a 5 lay count, it's worthless. Then, girl, you've admitted to having slept with 5 guys, and she's only 25, 26.
You don't have to convince me that she's a hypocrite. I've said that even before you came on that she's a hypocrite many times. I know she's a hypocrite.
So what do you think that the reaction towards her interviewing and kind of taking Nick Fuentes' side should have been?
Well, exactly what I did, I guess. I mean, I think that, my reaction was probably the most fair one. I think what's his name, Lead Attorney, had a pretty good take on that too. I think that people tend to oversimplify things and look at people through the lens of good or bad, right? This person is either good or bad, but people usually are not that simple. Vast majority of human beings are a combination of good or bad. There's very few purely good people and very few purely bad people. Most people are some combination of those two. And so I think you need nuance. I think you need to look at things in perspective. I think that you shouldn't jump to conclusions. I think you should really go through everything. So yeah, I think my take was probably the most fair take, but obviously I believe that because that's my take.
Shit's face.
I don't think she should face any.
Well, what had she faced as a repercussion from interviewing someone like Nick Fuentes?
What repercussions should she face, or what
Has
repercussions?
she faced,
Oh, I don't know. A lot of people have been attacking her.
other than people criticizing her for her poor
I don't.
actions?
I don't think she's faced any other repercussions.
Then, what's the big deal with people stating their opinions?
No, it's not a big deal. People are entitled to state their opinions. I'm just covering. I'm not saying like the people stating their opinions are wrong. I'm just disagreeing with some of their opinions. But yeah, they have a right to say their opinion.
So what are the opinions you disagree with the most?
The notion that she's a racist. The idea that she like that the reason she's like hiring black people is because she wants to like protect herself, insulate herself in the community. I think there's just pure capitalist opportunism. So yeah, I mean all the things I've talked about for the last hour and a half.
Yeah, I don't think she's definitely. She's not. I don't think she's a racist, as she used to have an African American boyfriend.
So then we don't really disagree.
I mean, I do think that she should face some type of repercussions, though.
Like what?
I don't know. I'll have to be more familiar
Well,
with.
people keep doing that, right? Like that first dude, he was like, she should be held accountable, but no one ever gives us specifics. So, like, she already apologized. You say you don't want her to get deplatformed. So, what repercussions should she face?
I don't know, like I'll have to get more familiar, but like I think that when you support people whose messaging are very harmful to a group of people, I think that there should be actions for that.
But again, like what repercussions? Like that's the question.
I don't know. I need to.
I just kind of hate like the really vague virtue signaling. Like, yeah, we should hold her accountable. It's like, okay, but what do you mean by that? Like, do you want her to apologize? Do you want her to get canceled? Do you want her to pay a fine? Like, what exactly would you like to see happen? Because there's no point talking about oh, there should be repercussions, or she should be held accountable if you don't really know what those repercussions or that accountability looks like, right? You're not really bringing anything to the table.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm not too familiar with the case though. To say like, oh yeah, she needs to.
Well, I've explained the case. I've covered it pretty much on this channel.
Hold on, let me get my puppy.
I didn't use her puppy for backup. All right. Anyway, does anyone else want to come on?
Okay, so that was just my 2 cents. Let me think about the repercussions that she should face.
Well, there really isn't any. Either you're pro canceling her or you're not pro canceling her. And if you're not pro canceling
I don't think she should be canceled, but I think that I don't find that her apologies were genuine, to be honest. She's sorry that she got backlash. I don't think she's sorry for taking this guy's side. I don't think she's sorry for saying that slavery has been taken out of proportion, and
once again, the question is, what should happen to her? Should she sit in the corner? Should she be whipped 10 times? Should she have her ass spanked? Should we cut off her hair? Like, what should happen?
That I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Well, that's the issue. That's the first thing. Like, I think before
so
saying.
What are some of the people are saying that should happen to her?
No one gives an answer on this. They just virtue signal. Like the first dude, he was just virtue signaling, but he doesn't actually have a prescription of what should happen. It's like, yeah, we should hold her accountable. Okay, well, what does that mean? Like, no answer, right? So no one has really thought about it. Because if you say you want her to get deplatformed, then you're being anti-free speech, right? So what else can happen?
I mean, I'm not like you. You're a free speech. You're all for free speech, and you know me by now. You know that I'm more towards, let's.
Well, I'm not like a free speech absolutist. A free speech absolutist.
You are definitely a free speech absolutist.
No, a free speech absolutist would be okay with, like, for example, someone coming on my channel and trying to incite violence, saying, "Hey, let's go kill this person," or someone coming on my channel doxing, or someone coming on my channel and dropping the N-bomb repeatedly, right? So that's what a free speech absolutist would work with. I tend to lean way more on the free speech side, but no one really is a free speech absolutist. There's no such thing as a free speech absolutist.
How far do you think you are, like, in that range?
I'm pretty
absolute being 10.
I'm probably like an 8 or something.
I think you'll be a 9.5.
Okay, I mean, I guess it's subjective, but yeah, I think I'll be probably like 8.5 or something like that. Yeah, I tend to be I lean on the free speech side, but I do think like
5.
I do think that with like things like incitement of violence, like with incitement of violence or doxing, that's where like I draw the line. Like I'm not for like inciting violence, I'm not for death threats, I'm not for doxing, so that's where I kind of draw the line.
Okay.
All right, babes. Thanks for coming on. I'll see you in half an hour.
No, take your time. Take your time. I'm not ready yet.
All right. I'll see you. All right. Let's bring on the next person. We got Lux Farrell. Hello. Is that really him?
You look so fucking friendly today, Alex. I just wanted to say.
Wait, why are you using a different avatar?
This guy's better looking.
Is this really you?
Yes, bro.
Okay. I'm fucking paranoid.
This is Francisco Lachowski.
Can you shoot me a text just to confirm?
You don't recognize my voice? Okay.
I do, but I don't know if it's someone like trying to play like voice module or something like that. I'm 99% sure it's you, but just shoot me a text.
We'll change it back to the other Chad since you feel more comfortable with him.
All right, that's a little better.
Yeah, I'm on my laptop too. That's why.
Yeah. So what did you think about the Pearly Things thing?
I mean, yeah, it's a little bit sus, but I don't know why you really like care about it. It's like all these guys are like simping over her because she's like red pill, 1000%. You know, it's just like.
Oh, I don't care. I just thought like people told me like, hey, you should talk about this. I thought it'd be an interesting topic to cover, but I don't really care at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's like pointless drama, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Q2. Let's hear your purposely contrarian take. Let me guess.
Purposely contrarian take. Now, if saying that Pearly is just not tapped in with the culture, and I never expected a person like Pearly to be tapped in with Black culture is contrarian, then I guess I'm contrarian.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Like, why would she know much about like racism and like slavery? Like, yeah, she's just like a chick who talks. She's a young girl who I don't believe has gone to college and who talks about like red pill shit. Yeah, like she clearly isn't like she's not like Destiny. Like she hasn't like deep dive into like these topics.
For sure. I think what was the other thing? Give me 1 second. Contrarian. I think also like the whole slavery wasn't as bad thing. I think that's more of a stupid thing to say, not necessarily an incorrect thing to say. I think there were. Oh, you go.
No, say that again. Sorry, I missed the first part. What was the stupid thing?
Saying slavery wasn't as bad as people think it is. It wasn't a. It was a stupid thing to say, but it wasn't necessarily an incorrect thing to say.
I mean, do you think slavery was not as bad as portrayed in history books, or like, what's your take on that?
Well, when people think about it, I think they think of like just like, I think people like there were probably like one way to put it, like they had time off in some way somehow. They probably sat around and talked. They probably had breaks here and there. There's like little things where it's like it wasn't like just 100% torture all the time. Like,
no one's saying it was 100% torture. Like there was,
I feel like
depends who your like owner was. There were some owners who were like probably pretty nice to their slaves, and some owners that were complete piece of shit, and probably a whole bunch in the middle. But yeah, like I think a lot of it depended on like what state you were in and who your owner was, and like what type of slave you were. You know, like there's the whole in Django Unchained. There's a whole joke about like, you know, like you work in the house, so you get like special privilege over the people who work in the field, right? But that's not what people aren't saying. It was like 100% like a concentration camp. It was just like overall, it was like super evil and like messed up. I mean, are you going to disagree with that or?
Oh, okay. I was going to disagree with the general, I guess, perception. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought people thought it was like 100% torture. Like everybody was just like dying left, right. and all that stuff. But like,
you're really close to getting kicked out of the black community. I'll just be careful. You don't want
to. Yeah, bro. I gotta get my pass back, man. I gotta reapply. But no,
I don't think that's how most people see it. I think they just like look at it as like the system of slavery was obviously evil. I mean, it was advantageous for the people who like had a slave, you know, but it was evil towards the people who had to be slaves. And like, you know, it was fucked. But yeah, like I'm sure some slaves probably had like a somewhat decent life if they had like an owner who was like, you know, like generally more empathetic and kind, right? But at the end of the day, they didn't have a choice. That was the problem, right? It's like
yeah.
You know, concept of like free choice. Like, you know, maybe you don't want to work in the field. Maybe you want to be an engineer, you know, but like if you were during that time for a black, you didn't have a choice, you know, which like fucking sucks, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Hey, just one quick thing.
Wait, what?
You said Austin hasn't responded yet, right?
No, I'm gonna follow up with him though. I'll text him right now.
All right. Yeah, he's top 1% in your eyes right
now. Uncle Ruckus. I'm getting called Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah. Clayton Bigsby. God damn. Jesus Christ. This is the issue with the black community. You can't have a different opinion. Everyone's got to do the same thing.
Wait, we have massive feedback.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Q2, say something.
Hello?
No, you're good now. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think you see that in every community, but yeah, I guess like you can't really. It's like you see it as like, well, even like if you're a white guy, if you're like, hey, you know, maybe like this was like, you know, like obviously, I don't think there's any white guys who are like disagreeing, or white people who are like disagreeing with the concept of slavery being evil. But like, I think there's like white people, for example, a lot of white people who disagree with the you know, the idea of reparations, right? Me being one of them, I think reparations is a bad idea. But like, you know, even if you hold that position, where like people call you a racist, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
Isn't there a term for like a black person who's like again, like I think what's the term? Isn't it like Uncle Tom or something? That's the word, or am I?
Uncle Tom. This one I'll only say a coon. There's a bunch of Clayton Bigsby. There's a bunch of terms for it. But yeah,
Uncle Tom is the one that I've heard. But yeah, so that basically means, is that like for like a black person who's like not for black like issues? I guess, is that what Uncle Tom means?
Uncle Tom means you're like sucking up to the white man to get favor, and like and you're shitting on black people in order to gain that favor and appear more white and more accepted, pretty much. Like basically you're just what is it? Not grifting, but I forgot the word, but basically you're sucking up.
Well, honestly, I think hot take. If I was alive in the 1830s and I was a black person, I would probably play next, like, you know, like the white people who are in charge, because I wouldn't want to like, you know, like fucking, you know, like piss them off and have them like whip me to death or whatever. So I think like in that sense is like out of survival, you probably want to like play nice. I mean, unless you have a chance to escape, you know, and you can get.
Oh, for sure. The issue is like if you have a choice to do it and not you doing it now, it's like now you're just trying to shit on black people. That's how it's viewed now. But obviously, like they probably said a bunch of flattering things to the slave master during those times in order to try to get more favorable treatment. That makes a lot of sense. But along with that, it's kind of deep. But basically, there is the house N-word and the field N-word dynamic, where like the field N-words would look down on the house N-words for one, getting favorable treatment, sometimes just because of the color of their skin, they were lighter skinned and all that stuff, and two, just getting favorable treatment in general, like there's that resentment as well. So like when that happens, I think not super carries over, but there's a little bit of a like same feeling where like if you're the one that's sucking up to white people to get like favorable treatment from white people, people feel like you're trying to shit on you. People feel resentment towards you type shit. Not feeling, maybe not as strong, still applies.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. I mean, I can see that. Alex Hater, did you have anything to add?
Not much. I just think like Pearly thing is kind of a LARP. That's what I think, honestly. But
true. What do you mean when you say LARP?
I don't know. Like, there's so many like women I see days like just doing red pill content, trying to be fresh and fit to like get views. I don't know.
So do you believe like she doesn't like? Do you think that she doesn't believe in what she says? Is that what you would say?
Yeah, 100%. She's like Courtney Ryan. Like Courtney Ryan's like short men are like moggers and stuff like, or like men like you just need to raise your standards or shit. Like I don't know. It's like red pill cope that these women are like doing.
I'm not going to say you're completely wrong. You might be right. I just haven't seen any evidence of the fact that she doesn't believe in what she says. It's pure speculation, right? Like, so typically what evidence would look like if her position has massively changed. If like 2 years, so like, for example, Sneeko, he's a perfect example of a LARP, right? Because 2 years ago, he was like criticizing the Tates, and now he's literally fucking changed his religion to be like the Tates, right? So you have a clear example of like someone's position completely changing in a short time span. I haven't really, again, I could be wrong because I don't watch a lot of her content, but I watch some of it. I haven't seen her positions change. I feel like since she's been on YouTube, she's basically been saying the same shit. So that kind of is like, okay, well, why, is there really any evidence that she's like doesn't believe in this stuff? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's just about like hopping on the bandwagon because she'll get a lot of views for it. That's why.
Yeah, but to be fair, like pretty much every YouTuber does that.
True.
But I don't know. I think I don't know. I think she does believe in what she basically maybe doesn't have her own beliefs, but she grabbed on or latched on to something that she might have heard, like you said, from her father, from the men growing up, and she kind of latched onto it. So she kind of does believe it in a way, but it's maybe not her being like super studied and like well thought out and shit like that. She's repeating what the people around her have said. Which I don't think is
she's regurgitating typical red pill talking points, which is exactly what Fresh and Fit does, exactly what like most of the red pill content creators do. They just regurgitate the same talking points. There's no okay, when you watch my debate or you watch me talk, you probably have a pretty good idea what I'm going to say, but you don't know. Like I have positions all over the place. Sometimes you don't really know like what my take is going to be on certain things because I cherry pick ideas that I like and don't like, right? With Pearly Things, you can predict every single thing she's going to say before she even says it. It's the same thing with Fresh and Fit. You know exactly what their positions are going to be on every issue.
Yeah, a little bit. I see that.
I mean, Courtney Ryan and her almost have like 1 million subs now from like just filling out red pill content. It's crazy.
Courtney Ryan is not red pill.
I don't know. She's like copium pill, but yeah, she's alright.
What do you think she's coping about?
No, she's just I don't know. She's like my boyfriend's not a chat or anything, but like, yeah, you guys should just just looks max, get a beard and stuff. And like, I don't know. It's just a bunch of like.
But that's true. Her boyfriend is not a Chad.
Yeah, but I don't know. But she probably settled down with him. Like we don't know her previous history or whatever. But
I mean, I just hate when people like throw out like accusations with like no evidence. Like, I mean, if you have like some specific things you can bring up and we can like talk about it, but like you're saying like she's like a LARPer, but like what's the evidence for that? Like her boyfriend isn't a Chad. Well, that's
she
a
just
statement.
seems I don't know. She seems like she doesn't seem genuine. Like the things she means. So like she says like height doesn't matter to her and looks don't matter to her. Personality like matters like way more.
I've never heard her say that looks don't matter. I've heard her say that personality matters more than looks. I've never heard her say that looks don't matter at all.
Yo,
No,
Alex Hitter.
She has a lot of like looks maxing advice on her channel. She talks about fashion a lot. So she talks about.
I don't know.
Dude, beauty's on the inside. So
Honestly, yeah, he's right. He's right.
The Nick Fuentes thing, I feel like she was a little bit irresponsible, but it wasn't her fault. Like I think she was too dumb to realize that this was a big deal versus actually like malicious behind the scenes or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I generally agree. Do you actually want to debate Fuentes? Yeah, I would definitely debate Fuentes for sure.
He's gonna destroy you, my guy. What? Nah,
No,
that's crazy.
He's not that good of a debater.
Oh yes, he is.
Not
To get
really.
his, especially.
He uses the same tactics over and over again. They're actually super obvious. He basically uses a Mod and Bailey fallacy. So basically what he does is he will make an extreme position, but when you push on it, he retreats back to something that's much more reasonable people will agree with, right? It's the same thing that Donovan Sharp does. If you actually like know a little bit about debating, you can see like he uses the same series of like debate tactics over and over again. And he also like redirects a lot. So yeah, if you're just aware of that, you can easily call it out.
Well, for sure. But I mean, like, also you have to, and I guess, I will say it. I'll take a firm stance. You do have to also make sure that you're not letting him get away with dog whistling and making like saying those little covert things to his side and all that shit. You have to also take a stance and kind of combat his bad race.
I think I have a pretty strong anti-racism stand. For anyone who's not familiar with my stand, is that probably don't be racist, bro. I mean, I think like my position on this is pretty clear. I don't think there's any like ambiguity in my position on racism.
Oh, my fault. You have to get him to you have to destroy his like kind of racist beliefs or make them look bad. You have to make his beliefs on race and all that stuff look bad. Otherwise, I feel like you're not doing service to I guess I would say your audience, but basically just like minorities in general, shit like that.
Alex, real quick, can you just clarify something you said earlier?
Sure.
When you said Nick Fuentes admitted he was a rapist, was that like a joke?
No, not Nick Fuentes. No. The white guy, Charlie White or whatever fuck, Charleston White. So no, Nick Fuentes has never admitted to be. Nick Fuentes is a virgin, so by default he cannot be a rapist. No, it was the other dude. It was the dude that Fresh and Fit had on. That
Charleston White.
Charleston White. That dude has literally made. Actually, during the Fresh and Fit podcast, he literally admitted to like fucking drugging girls and like basically, dude. I mean, like it's straight up like he admitted to rape.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Pretty much.
Wow, I don't really watch Fresh and Fit at all, so that's news to me.
Yeah, I don't watch them at all. I saw this also from Abba and Preach covered this. But yeah, the dude was like saying like, yeah, me and my friends, we would like, if there was a white girl, if there was a girl who was into one of my friends, we'd have them set up a date and then we would all just show up unannounced. And then we kind of like, and then sometimes if she wasn't down, we'd just get her fucked up and then we'd all run a massive train on her. But we only did that with white girls. We would never do that with black girls. So it's like, it's like pretty fucking irredeemable type of shit.
Yeah, I think he's doing the whole Tate thing where he says a bunch of outrageous shit that's like half true and all that stuff, but he's gonna get himself fucked.
Okay, maybe I misspoke. I think you did blunder that Nick. Okay, so sorry. Just to clarify, I did not mean Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is literally a virgin. He cannot be a rapist. I was talking about Charleston White. So I think I got the names confused.
I didn't know Fuentes was a virgin either. I guess it's not surprising actually.
He's Christian. He's a like super Christian. So like,
I believe that he's secretly gay, but
I don't think it would really matter if he was Christian or not. I think that's a convenient cope for him.
Bro, what are you talking? He runs AFPAC. You know what that is, right? That's a giant ass convention. He's at the social media.
I'm saying it's a convenient truth for him. I'm saying if he happened to be agnostic or atheist, he would probably still be a virgin. That's all.
No, he wouldn't, bro. What are you talking about? He has mad clout, a bunch of followers. He has people under him. He has actual employees. Like he has a bunch of status. He could get pussy if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think he could, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think he wants to.
Yes, I mean, depending how low he aimed, yeah, I guess. I can't be disingenuous and say he couldn't get a 4 or 3.
No, there's some like trapped on girls who like watch his shit who probably fuck him. But again, he's not into girls; he's into dudes. So therefore, consciously, he thinks being gay is really wrong. So that's the confusion in his mind. I don't have any proof of this. I could be wrong, but I would bet any amount of money that he's secretly gay.
How old is he?
And Alex, by the way, you guys said status trumps everything. I looked up all of Jonah Hill's receipts, and they are literally worse than mine.
How the fuck did you hack his phone? Like how the fuck?
No, he's a celebrity. It's not hard. You just type in Jonah Hill, like.
But those are the girls. Those are the girls he's in public with. You don't know what he does behind closed doors.
I mean, you can say that about anybody.
Like, imagine you're around.
I could say Radical Coder. I don't know who Radical Coder is smashing behind closed doors.
He's not a celebrity.
He could be slaying Ashley or Sarah behind closed doors for all I know.
Do you think Jonah Hill would have a hard time getting laid with hot girls? He's an A-list.
Based on his dating history, yes.
Okay.
I mean, he's done well for himself. He's not an incel. That's I'm happy for him, but I'm just saying, you guys were dying on a hill for Jonah. And like all the receipts,
this was this was months ago, right?
You have no idea what his receipts are.
All the receipts were okay. One was like a 6. I'll get one was good.
What receipts are you talking about? Like I understand what receipts these are. Like photos that girls he's been photographed in public with. You don't actually know who he fucks and who he doesn't fuck. He doesn't.
He's dated. Alex, he's a celebrity. It's not like hard to find this out.
Yeah, you can see.
I mean,
dating.
he's an A-list celebrity, Alex. Like, I can find Will Smith's dating history and find it, and like I can find 20 models that Will Smith smashed. It's not hard to find A-list celebrities dating history.
I understand the dating history part, but he could be fucking a bunch of porn stars behind closed doors, and he just doesn't show it. Like, you really don't know what he does behind closed doors. Like, the idea that Jonah Hill would like have a hard time fucking chicks to me seems ridiculous.
Well, I didn't say that's kind of disingenuous. I didn't say he would have a hard time smashing anything, but I just remember when everybody was saying if we were all in a club with Jonah Hill, he would mog everybody, and I'm just saying,
he would destroy all of us.
Yeah. Oh, that's just not true, dude. It's just not.
But look, like I said, the girls will take his number. They'll entertain him. They'll be at his table in his section, but at the end of the night, they're going to be with who they really want to be with. So, I mean, that's what I've seen.
Jonah Hill, if you're watching this stream, come on, let's do a competition. Let's do a little pickup competition. I know you watched my shit, Jonah. I guess we're just speculating right now, so we got to agree to disagree. But yeah, I think Jonah Hill would destroy everyone.
Because Alex, a girl that's that hot that's going to leave with Jonah Hill anyway. If the guy she really wants happens to be at the same club, she's going to just get both anyway. If she's that hot, she can just get both.
Bro,
so what's the metric? Why?
He's an A-list celebrity. Like that level of status trumps pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hard disagree on that.
I'm a black player, but I admit status is like every
status
matters a lot.
At that point,
if you look at Jason Statham, look at Jason Statham. He has the hottest like woman model in the world, and like married to her and shit. He's a bald
but he's also good looking.
But he's like 5'8" and bald.
Not good looking.
He's 5'8" and bald. Yeah, I mean, look at Tom Holland. Like, he's really short.
Bro, Tom Holland's a Chad or Chad Light at the very least. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's not. Bro. He's not.
Bro, what?
He was 5'9".
No, he's not. He's not 5'9".
Well, either way,
I didn't even know this was like a controversial take. Yeah, I feel
status does matter a lot, and I'm black pilled.
All of us. Yeah, like I'm not like embarrassed to say it. I know Jonah Hill would crush me because he has way more status than me. Like I've had little like sneak previews and glimpses and what like status can accomplish. Like the very few girls who've like slid in my DMs to watch my channel, and trust me, those are like the easiest fucking lays ever. And I'm like 0.0001% of what Jonah Hill is in terms of like status. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty. He's gonna.
Yeah. Also, it's tough to disentangle being in because you're talking about people in the entertainment industry. I mean, status does play a part, but also too, they could be have good social skills, be charming, funny, all that stuff because they're in the entertainment industry. So
Jonah probably is pretty funny. I mean, he does comedy movies. I'm sure he's a pretty funny dude. I'm sure he probably has like pretty decent social skills if he's like an actor. I mean, you kind of have to, I think, right? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like his social skills would be pretty decent. I mean, I don't think he has like the best game ever, but I think he probably has pretty decent like fucking social skills.
Sure. So that like, I don't get how this is Stefan that you're talking about a guy with like, I'll just say maybe above average game and a shitload of status against somebody with, let's just say Alex has 10 out of 10 game all the time, 10 out of 10 game and no status. I think that status and a little.
I don't care about game anyway, so that's.
What? So what's your metric? You have like your metrics are all over the place, my guy. You said like okay,
but I'm not arguing game versus status though. I've never that's. I don't care about either of them.
Okay, so
I care about status less.
Okay, so why do you think Jonah Hill's not doing this?
A really good example, Hugh Hefner. He was 85 years old and he was banging the hottest chicks on the planet. Is it because of his looks? Is 85-year-old Hugh Hefner a fucking like a Chad? Like he's an old fucking man. He's wrinkly. He's fucking disgusting at that point. He's fucking the hottest chicks. Why is that? Why are these girls fucking him? Like, what is the only thing that Hugh Hefner has going for him? Status.
Well, and that's another thing. Status in the 0.0000001%. Yeah, of course. That's that's the top percentile of a category. That's such a massive outlier. Of course, is going to compensate for
Well,
something. That's
well, yeah, but
so
Jonah
yeah.
Hill.
I'm going to agree with that. Yes, those type of examples. Yes, I'm going to.
Yeah, but Jonah Hill's an A-list celebrity. Like he's
But
like.
Jonah Hill, I would never compare him to Hugh Hefner. Come on now.
Well, do you think if most girls are given the option, like let's just take let's just say like we bring up a bunch of girls who have no idea who these guys are. One choice is fucking Hugh Hefner, who's like 85 years old. One choice is fucking Jonah Hill. Do you think more girls would pick fucking Hugh Hefner?
I think they would friend zone both of them and
but
probably
if
with
they
a better
have to-
looking guy that's in the
No,
room.
but if they have to
that's
fuck one,
slightly less famous.
there's a gun to their head. They have to fuck one of them, right? So who do you think they would pick?
If Jonah Hill, if it was when he was in shape, then I guess Jonah Hill. When he was working out or whatever.
Even fat Jonah Hill versus an 85-year-old man.
I guess Jonah Hill would edge it out slightly.
So yeah, so if you can foresee Hugh Hefner using his status to get laid, then there should be no different with Jonah Hill.
Like Stefan, how many girls do you think Jonah Hill has to approach?
But if you were comparing Jonah Hill to anybody else with that status, like
what are you talking about? Like deep in LA? If you're talking about like a rich ass nigga in LA, of course Jonah Hill probably doesn't stand out as much. If you're talking about like any regular club or anything, or any place besides like actually like Los Angeles and shit like that, like Jonah Hill in the club is a big deal. Like they could, I don't think they can pay him enough money to do that.
If you're that famous, the fact that you kind of have to stoop down and compete with like regular average dudes to kind of mog, that kind of proves the point. It's like
I never said he had to
compete with other celebrities. You have to.
Well, now you're taking it to celebrity versus celebrity. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about celebrity versus average guy. That's different.
Also, these guys are not like I think you don't really understand how like celebrities get laid. These guys are not going to the club picking up girls. Okay, these guys are having girls come to them. Most of them have.
No, that was a hypothetical. I don't. No, I know. I know that obviously they're
Right. So like Jonah Hill isn't going out doing cold approach, or he's not on Tinder. He's just opening up his Instagram. He probably has a pussy assistant, a person whose full-time job it is to schedule pussy appointments.
Alex, I don't even cold approach, and I'm not famous, so of course he doesn't cold approach. I get it.
But girls are not sliding in your DMs like they're sliding in Jonah Hill's DMs. Like there's a massive difference between you two.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's what warm approach is for.
Well, sure, but we're talking about girls cold messaging you as well. Not necessarily, or cold-ish messaging. Like they see your story and they swipe up and put hard eyes type shit.
Yeah,
that's happening way more for him.
Hundreds of girls.
My Instagram is banned, so they can't. No one can DM me anyway.
But you would get some girls that would send you little eyes.
Girls are not going to be mass sliding in your DMs.
Well, not random ones that don't know me. No.
Right.
I'm not delusional.
Jonah Hill, it is random ones who don't know him. That's the difference.
Yeah, but if I had even half of his status and then we were competing, then you would see what I'm talking about.
So you're saying status matters a lot then in terms of like the amount of hard eyes you get on Instagram or whatever.
So okay, big picture, my point is it doesn't matter because the levels you guys are using, it's such an outlier that everybody watching the video can't achieve it anyway. So it's like,
well, I'm not advocating for people. You never see me advocating.
Well, no, not you, Alex. You don't. But I'm saying a lot of the guys you disagree with, they do it. A lot of the fresh and fit, the high value type people, like they make it seem like it's attainable to just will your way into being, having high.
Right. It's not attainable for 99% of the people.
I
don't bring that up on your channel because you don't. I mean, me and you agree on this. So yeah. But
wait, no. So okay. So you just conceded this whole thing, by the way. But basically, you changed from Jonah Hill wouldn't mock anybody. You can mock Jonah Hill. You changed your position now to, he would probably mock, but I mean, can other guys do it? I don't know.
Well, no. He said, do random girls slide in my DM like Jonah Hill? That's different from the hypothetical we were talking about in the previous
hypothetical in the club. Okay, so in the club, but then also too, when I brought up a hypothetical in the club, you said, well, the fact that he has to be in the club with normal guys shows is like you're like trying to dismiss the hypothetical is not valid.
No. I'm saying in the original hypothetical in the previous debate, that's where I actually fleshed it out. In this debate, it was a side point I was making that to illustrate that Jonah Hill's receipts aren't so great.
Jonah Hill's receipts aren't
And
so
Alex was saying why like there are other receipts I don't know about.
Well,
But my point is, if you were to
you might be
compare
right.
him
You
to
might be
other
wrong. We have no
celebrities-
idea what Jonah Hill's receipts are because he like we don't know what's on his phone. Like only his close friends would really know what his true receipts are.
So do you think him and Will Smith have smashed the same type of women?
Obviously not.
I
don't know.
Not including not including like strippers and sex workers and all that.
Well,
stuff.
look at who Will Smith is dating. Like I would say, Will Smith's wife is like a.
Look at Jada.
No,
Pinkett,
I'm
bro.
saying the side pieces that Will Smith had years ago, they were like international 10s.
I think they both have.
Will Smith years before the August Alsina thing happened, Will Smith had side chicks years ago. Like that's nothing new. Which makes Will Smith even sillier because he actually had options and he still was a simp anyway.
I think both guys have fucked really, really hot girls in Hollywood. I think both of them have fucked really hot girls. I don't know who has fucked more hot girls. I don't know. Will Smith is older and he's been famous for longer, so probably him. But I think they both fucked like really, really hot girls.
And 90s Will Smith was like a literal like giga tyrant, like 90s peak Will Smith, Grammy nominations and all that stuff. That's pretty. Like I said, the girls he had on the side were way better than Jada.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you fuck 210s or 410s. It's like you're still getting a lot of pussy.
Also, you have to. Then we're also saying that. Stefan, you don't know how the entertainment industry works. Not everybody is public with the people they fuck. Actually, it's the exact opposite. Most people that these people are fucking are never
I never said that.
But you said, the people that are out in public, those are better or worse. And like, even if that is the case, we don't know. I've never been around Jonah Hill. I've never been around Jonah Hill fucking. I don't know who he fucks. I don't know Jonah Hill's dick like that. I would never claim to. And his receipts are public. You could say those are his only public receipts, but there's probably a lot
knows
of
100% of anybody's receipts though. That like nobody that's.
Well,
I mean, unless they're like your best friend and you or they're your roommate and they share with you every single chick they ever smack but
no, like there's degrees of it, but like with me, like you can go on my website and you can see literally photos, like dozens of photos of the chicks I fucked. So you have some idea. You don't know the whole thing, but you have some idea. But Jonah Hill's not.
Yeah, that's my point, Alex. I have a gist of the girls I know you're not an incel. I know, so I don't know the exact whatever.
Well, I'm saying Jonah Hill's not putting out like lay reports out there, like that's like, he's probably trying to be a little bit like if he fucks with like an OnlyFans girl, like a porn star, he probably tries to be low key about it. That's like what most celebrities do. Like a lot of celebrities fuck porn stars, but they typically like try not to let that information get out, which is why like fucking the whole Donald Trump thing is going out. Literally, he did not want to get out that he fucked Stormy Daniels, right? Now he's facing criminal prosecution because of that. But it all came from the fact that he didn't want people to know that he fucked a porn star, essentially.
And you're also ignoring NDAs and the fact that a lot of the girls that he fucked probably at Jonah Hill's level, they probably signed some NDAs type. If he's not married, of course, he probably signed some NDAs and all that stuff too. So that's another aspect of the entertainment industry that would prove getting receipts is super difficult. Like we'll probably never know. There's probably nothing we'll get because that's how they intend it, especially if doing NDAs and shit.
Yeah, I do know that a lot of them do. I know Dan Bilzerian does NDAs. So yeah, that is pretty common.
Okay, so Q2, do you think Jonah Hill and Tyson Beckford smashed the same chick?
Maybe. I don't know. I would say probably Tyson Beck. Oh, Tyson. I know what that is. Well, now I'm trying to think based off looks, but they're also probably in different circles.
The same level.
Probably not.
They don't have to be the same exact.
Yeah. I get it's the same level of chicks or whatever.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jonah Hill probably doesn't.
This is such an obvious.
Yeah. Tyson Beckford maybe gets more. I'm trying to think of because it's different circles. Probably gets maybe.
Who is this? Who's Tyson Beckford?
He's asking like obvious questions.
He's like the most famous male model of all time or something like that.
Oh, I've never heard of him.
This is obvious answer stuff, and you know the answer to this. Like, it's pretty obvious.
Well, I don't think it is obvious. I think that like how they're both A-list, they're both famous. I'm assuming this person is really famous. They're both fucking really hot girls. This Tyson Beckford guy, if he's like an A-list celebrity and he's really good looking, yeah, he probably fucks more hot girls, right? I'm sure I can foresee that. But then the day, they're both fucking. They're not. They're not thirsty for pussy. They both have plenty of hot girls at their disposal they can fuck. That's like when you get to that 0.001%. I mean, like, your options are just like insane.
All right, so I'll concede on this. Jonah Hill probably fucks all the hot bartenders. Tyson Beckford probably fucks all the hot like porn stars, models, all that stuff. Like it's hotness, but like maybe Tyson Beckford fucks slightly hotter girls type shit. Sure, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna beat the dead horse. I don't care that too much.
Okay, do you have any other good questions before I'll quickly wrap up?
Let's check the comments real quick.
Porn stars are trash at that. I would fuck a lot of porn stars. I'd definitely fuck Leela Starr. That's for sure. I'd fuck Lana Rhodes. There's a lot of porn stars I would love to fuck.
I guess.
Lana Rhodes.
Oh yeah, she's hot. Yeah.
You wouldn't fuck Lana Rhodes? Come on.
No, her baby came out so weird looking. Like,
but you would still fuck.
Oh yeah, if she didn't have like 100 dicks inside of her, yeah, I probably would. Yeah.
No, but like even with 100 dicks, you would still fuck.
Hell no. I'm not.
Hang on. Hold on. Lana Rhodes is naked in your bed. You would not fuck her? Come on,
bro. After all the videos I've watched for taking shit, I'm not going near her.
So this is a porn star that you've jerked off to, but you wouldn't fuck her.
Hell no. But there's a limit to how many bodies are like. I'm not doing 100+ bodies. Like, I'm not going near that.
For a second, and there's a porn star you've jerked off to countless times that if she was naked on your bed, you would not fuck her. I think you'd be balls deep inside of her in 30 seconds. I think you probably wouldn't even wear a condom because you'd be so excited about it. So yeah, I don't know.
All right, so Alex Hader, if Lana Rhodes whispered in your ear, "Come fuck me," do you think you could resist that and just like say,
I'm punching her in the face, and leaving?
Yeah, right. All right, bro. Yeah, right.
Bro, after all the
you're coping.
She's been ran through so hard in the porn industry. I'm not going near that.
But what your biology would take, like you would respond to how good she looks in the moment.
Like any straight dude, if they have Lana Rhodes in the bed, they're gonna fuck them. Okay. Okay. No one's passing up Lana Rhodes. Okay.
Bro, have you seen her videos, bro?
Myself, by the way, I'm not excluded from this. I would totally fuck Lana Rhodes. I wouldn't date her, but I would fuck her.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing that, bro.
I mean, yeah, as long as her body doesn't look like weird or something, like.
Honestly, I'd really like the whole like ran through thing. You can make a very good argument for why that makes her not relationship worthy. But for casual sex, for one night stand, I don't see how that matters as long as you're wearing a condom. Like assuming she got STD tested, she doesn't have any STDs. Then what's the big deal? Like it's not like her vagina physically changes because she's had 100 guys once rather than one guy 100 times. At the end of the day, it's the same shit. So, like, what would be your reason not to have a one-night stand with her, assuming you knew she didn't have any STDs?
Bro, because I've seen her, like, getting gangbanged and shit. Like, I'm not okay with that. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you were. So that means you were jerking off to it. Like, there's
yeah, like a couple of years ago, yeah.
You were just watching it for educational purposes?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to figure out what exactly a gangbang is. From
I'll say that.
All right, so this involves multiple penises. The penis is going inside the girl.
Imagine kissing her, bro. It'd be over.
But Alex Hader, would your dick get hard if Lana Rhodes is in your bed? Would your dick get hard if Lana Rhodes is in your bed, Alex Hader?
I wouldn't even let her get in my bed. No.
But I'm just okay. But she's in your bed already. So would your dick get hard if she was in your bed?
I mean, that's of course. But then I would try to leave.
I believe you for a second when you say you won't fuck her.
Bro, I just cannot deal with like. Okay, there's a limit to how many bodies like a girl can have. Like that's just too much.
But if for a relationship, sure. But for a one night stand, why does it matter if she doesn't have any STDs?
I just don't want to know that she's had like 100,000 dicks inside of her, bro. Like that's just weird.
But knowing if it's that for a one night stand and she has no STDs.
If I didn't know her bodies and didn't know she was a porn star, yeah, then I would do it. Yeah, I would say that.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if that's like an ego thing or that's just maybe like a subconscious thing. I don't know, but
I just don't like knowing she's been ran through that bad in the porn industry.
Yeah, for like a relationship, I totally see your point. Like,
yeah, I'd agree on that part.
But like for a one night stand, if the girl doesn't have any STDs, at the end of the day, it's not like her vagina changes. It's still the same shit. I wouldn't care at all.
Well, the baby probably fucked up her vagina a little bit, but that's but I think she's still fuckable, obviously.
Yeah, I'm mad looks left. I wanted to bring up one topic. Alex, I'm starting to question looks because no, not looks himself, but like looks like I'm starting to question like the power of them, because it's like so many people are dating down. I'm like, it's just not making sense. Like they're literal like dudes that could be models dating like literal like women I wouldn't even notice existed. And it's just I don't I'm questioning reality at this point. Like literally, I don't even know what's real anymore. Like I don't.
What do you think is
like even Chads are down bad. I don't know what. Like, I can't like I don't know I don't have like a theory to explain. Like obviously I get the whole dating market inflation, blah blah blah. I get that, but it's like it's so extreme. I don't have like an explanation.
I can answer your question if you
I
want.
do. I have you can answer first. I say, I'll take a piss.
No, because my thing is, I'm not talking about one night stands. I'm not talking about dudes pumping and dumping. I'm talking about dudes dating down like long term, like or
Chad's dating like regular
consistent
girls?
FWBs or whatever, like or long term situationships. I'm just saying I don't understand why they would date down to that extreme.
Yeah,
like I could see being in a drought and having a one night stand and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, you're in a drought and you get out of it and then you're back to normal. But just to be down bad on a consistent basis, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this a couple of times. I've said like, a lot of men are the problem to the dating market too, because like a lot of Chads have like really low standards too, and like settle for like any girl. It ruins at least like a dating market too, because girls think they can get one. So I mean,
and by the way, some of these guys looks thinks as a model. So if looks thinks they're like models, they're literal models.
I mean, I see guys going down into the trenches quite a lot just to get laid. It has to do with like efficiency. Some guys will also like do a girl who's not that good looking because he knows she'll do anything for him because he's like way out of her league, So there might be some power dynamics there.
I don't think that really is a big reason. I think it comes down to two things. I think the first thing is that it's just like they're just not able to get the kind of girls they want. It's accessibility. I think the second reason is simply because maybe once they probably don't start off wanting to date like the busted girls. They probably just hook up with them a few times and like, oh, this girl's pretty cool, she's fun, and they like start just dating her because they start liking the girl. Probably comes down to those two things.
Wow. I just don't see how it can get inflated anymore at this point. Because like people keep saying, "Oh, dating's going to get worse" and blah blah blah. But I'm like,
it's not going to get worse for everyone. It's going to get worse for some people.
I don't know. It just to me, it's already over. It's already like too far gone. If that's the case.
Well, how is it over if you're getting laid? Like, I understand.
I mean, it's not over for me individually, but I'm just saying if it's that extreme,
who's it over for?
It's over for like on a macro scale. It's over
for who?
For maybe 60% of people. If it's that bad,
I
mean that's I mean men. I'm sorry, men. Not
which men?
Not everybody.
I can tell you which men. The vertically challenged men and the ugly men. Those are the one it's over for. Now it's only gonna get worse as the years progress.
The ones with bad game. Those
right.
The ones with bad game.
Yeah, this is where like I can't stand about the black girl is like this extreme pessimism and this like, oh my god, I'm not a Chad. I will never like, dude, Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, it's not a problem for me, so I don't really care. But like for other people, it will matter.
Right,
yeah,
but then
it's not a problem for me either. I'm a gigamogger.
Of course, it's not a problem for anyone on the channel. Just other people. Yeah, of course. Not over for anyone here. Just over for other people. I get it.
Well,
right.
I am gymming though. You'd be happy to hear. So that's one good thing about the black pill.
Would I? I mean,
you can use it for good. The black pill for good. It's not all bad.
Good for you, I guess. I mean, it's not like really something that I'm going to lose sleep over whether you gym or not.
What I mean is there's good parts to it. Like you're given the truth, and with that you do as you will.
I don't think you're given the truth, but there are elements of truth, and I do think there's good parts of it. But I do see also a lot of like fucking nihilism, depression, whining, complaining, bitching. Pretty much every single thing.
Definitely a lot of negative stuff about it.
A lot of victim mindset.
There are a lot of like more moderate ones coming out now though. Like I know like Black Pill Jesse, he's really like I mean because like I mean, you know, girls treat him well, so he just has like he's like a positive spin on it.
Because girls treat him well. If girls didn't treat him well, it'd probably be different, you know?
Yeah,
Never heard of this person, but I do see what's in my comment section, and I do see like the massive level of like cope is just like mind blowing. Like the recent video we released, I like already knew that I was gonna like fucking bug out a bunch of black pillers, so I literally made in the comment like preparing for the black pill cope, and then there was like 50 comments of like cope. Oh, bro, she really didn't want to be in the video. She looked like she was so miserable. She was screaming for help. Oh, bro, she was a kid. Oh, bro, she was like she really didn't want to be there, man. Like, oh, bro, she's actually doing it for, like the back rationalization is insane. It's just like maybe Indian P just fucked one like semi-attractive girl. Nope, can't be that. It has to be that like she's a paid actress or she's like being held hostage. Like it's insane.
Well, it's because like the first video you guys did with Indian P was like a bad look for him, and since then it's gonna be hard to like reverse that. You know what I
mean? Every single person has fucked unattractive girls.
Yeah, but
it's just the fact that she looked like she was like in her 40s and she was only 30. So
we don't need
in the old video, not the recent one. The MILF video or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't look that good in the video. She was pretty attractive in real life. I saw it in real life, but yeah, I agree.
She looks like she was attractive when she was younger. Like, I'm pretty sure.
I think if you guys saw her in real life, most of you guys would fuck her, honestly. But I mean, it's kind of my word versus your word. I mean, I can find her Instagram. I guess it's probably, but it's at the end of the day, you're gonna just make the.
We saw her on video. Like it is what it is, you know.
Right, but sometimes people don't look good in videos, my man. Like there's a lot of videos. You're the first person to know this looks how things can be manipulated. You can make someone look a lot better and a lot worse. Generally based on like the lighting, the angle, their facial expression.
You guys had good lighting there. It was solid. Like we could see both.
No, the problem was that she was just like she was like kind of like sweaty. Her makeup was like dripping. The lighting didn't really hit her in the most flattering angle. Yeah, just because we have good lighting doesn't mean the lighting hits you in a flattering angle. They're not the same thing.
I mean, I smell.
Yeah, I thought it was just a MILF or like a cougar.
But either way, that makes that doesn't have any effect. Like every single person who watches this channel has at one point or another fucked an ugly girl, right? That's every single person, right? But that doesn't negate the fact that you can't fuck hot girls if you fuck like one ugly girl, right? Even if we're assuming that she's unattractive, right? Like I don't see how those two things are correlated. Like I know every single one of you motherfuckers has fucked one girl that you're like not proud of.
Hey, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So
yeah,
it's also on the inside. So it is.
Oh come on, this is such a lame cop out. Looks, you fucked a girl you're not proud of. Yes or no?
Never in my life.
Oh my god, you guys lie so bad.
No, I have, but only a few times.
Yeah, only a few times.
Yeah, I have. I just put a bag over her face. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That's a little better.
That's not respecting women. Yeah, you guys are so rude.
Looks Pharrell has fucked hundreds of girls, but apparently not one of those was unattractive. Every single one of those was a hottie.
One might be like average or something. But like you don't want to be in the dumps, like dumpster diving. You know, that's just pathetic. But I can understand why guys do it.
Okay, whatever. If you want a virtue signal, feel free to virtue signal. I guess everyone's doing it. We covered a lot of virtue signaling on the stream, so one more can't hurt. All right, guys.
Out of the beholder, dude. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So the girl wasn't like a few pounds extra. She just wasn't. Right. I get it.
Every weight is beautiful, bro.
I understand.
Yeah. Also, I still think Indian PE is proof that personality matters. I'm going to die on that hill. Personality matters. His game. It's not always terrible. I'm going to give him a little credit, but
game is synonymous with personality to a large extent. Like you can't have really good personality and really bad game.
No, I know plenty of people with great personality, and their game is like pretty bad or mediocre at best.
Well, I think like for one night stands, most girls are looking at your like confidence, charisma, your game. They're not really looking at like whether you have deep down good values. You know, that's more for like relationships.
No, some of those texts where PE is talking to those chicks, I get that it's sexual and everything, but that's like
Which text?
that's not really one night stand. That's coming off more of like a situationship. Like it may be
talking about
the ones on his Instagram. I don't know which one. I don't remember.
Oh, you mean on our what?
on one of his Instagrams?
We do like super sexual interactions. Like the vast majority of the stuff on our PWF Instagram was like really sexual.
Yeah, but I was saying with Indian PEs specifically, a lot of those, if you read them, the context of it comes off as it's a girl that, yes, it's sexual, but it's not a one night stand. It's like a girl he's knows well, or even if he just met, he's already built a good rapport with, and he's going to smash them more than once. I'm not saying he's leading with sex. Like he may have led with casual sex or whatever, or met them on a dating app. But I'm saying if you read when he's talking about meeting up with them and all this stuff, and like after he messed with them and he asked them like how did they like it or whatever he says.
Yeah,
like
if he fucks a girl he likes, he tries to fuck her a second time.
Yeah, so I'm saying personality matters because that's an ongoing relationship.
I mean, I think fucking a girl a few times isn't an ongoing relationship. But yeah, I think personality matters. I think game matters. I think that if you're an unattractive guy, there's only one way you're going to be fucking girls above your league, and that's going to be if you're compensating for that. It could be status, could be game, but there has to be some kind of compensation for that. All right. Anyway, it's 10:40. I do want to wrap up. Fun discussion as always. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this. I think we started off on Pearly things, and we got into Bernie Sanders, and as always, we got into the black pill. I just can't get rid of you black pillars. You guys just like fucking.
Yeah, I'm your favorite black pillar, right?
Denon said what you stop, but I agree. Like it's the same thing over and over again every
same
night.
discussion over and over again. Yeah.
Keep me up to date with like Austin and whatnot.
We'll do. All right. Good night, everybody. See y'all.